Of
Just gold showers.
tickets raining down.
And Craig Elsten.
I was too vociferous in my ding-dong.
And featuring Braden Sopranet. The good times start now. Here are your hosts, Andy and Elsten, on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Great Friday, everybody. What's happening? Welcome in. It's your Midday Hang, Andy and Elsten. Final program of 2024 here with you on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's great to be here with Andy Heilbrunn and Braden Sopranet. I'm Craig Elsten for our Christmas and holiday less than spectacular. We're not there yet.
It's not the same.
We're not there yet, Annie.
No, but I want to thank Ben and Woods and Polly for their fantastic holiday Christmas extravaganza spectacular. They did a great job, did a lot of hard work on it, and we unfortunately did nothing but reap the benefits from Joe Musgrove's mom.
Met Diane Musgrove,
and Cafe Adesso.
Delicious. I'm drinking it right now.
Drinking a delicious cold brew as we speak.
Okay, so you have the cold brew.
So do I.
So good.
He has the cold brew. Did you see on the cold brew where it said highly caffeinated?
No.
It did.
And she told me that someone had taken 3 of them, come back
so
3.
You two are going to be ping pong balls off the wall here.
I need a little extra kick today.
That's fine.
I feel like.
Yeah, I do too. I got to be honest.
Where the burritos come from?
Senior Grubbies.
Senior Grubbies. Thank you.
Carlsbad.
We got to meet Mikey Varas and some SDFC
Well, we
crews,
got,
which is awesome. We got some.
Got our jersey.
Got our kids.
So we kind of made out during their extravaganza.
That's right. This is great.
Yeah, we're just the happy people getting gifts.
And we got to meet some fans out there too. Got to see Charisma and Annie, who does the Fat Bottom Girl baking. And wait, no, I said that wrong, did I?
Yeah, Annie.
I said her business wrong though, I think.
Fat Bottom Girl baking.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Bakes, not baking. Yeah,
yes. And Tyler, who is always in our chat,
Mm-hmm.
introduced himself. He can't be in our chat probably
Rod,
right
who
now.
brought us Dodger Duck, came by.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Jocelyn was here. Did you say
Jocelyn?
Yep,
Jocelyn?
Yes.
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 Jake was not here, but I see he's in the chat. Welcome. Welcome to everybody who's in their normal places as opposed to being in our building. We appreciate you. Either way, where you are, we are here for the next 4 hours. Then we're out of here for 2 weeks. So nothing special as to that. I was just informed by Gmail, and I let Annie know that her gift's coming just in time for Christmas. So's Braden's. Both of them will be here just in time for Christmas.
When you're in Long Beach.
And you guys are, when we're not together.
It's all
So get ready for a 3 Kings Day gift.
Can't wait. You know, the Christmas season does go 12 days.
Yeah.
It does. And on the 12th day, you'll get it.
That's right.
Nonetheless, that'll be a good first anniversary gift. We could look at it that way as well.
There you go.
We can double up either way. Here's what's coming up on the show today. Pretty straightforward. As we get into this hour, we're going to talk a lot of football because football is the biggest thing that's going on right now. College football playoff begins tonight.
Tonight, 5 o'clock.
Catholics v. Cigarettes.
Yes.
Looking forward to Notre Dame, Indiana. We'll go ahead and do the thing. You know, next time we're together, most of this will be decided. Not all of it, but most of it will be decided.
Yeah, they'll be in the semifinals by that time.
Right. So we'll pick through and see who we think's going to win the championship. And then, it's useless information, but it's a fun thing to do. We'll get into Braden's football segment and preview the NFL weekend as the hour goes forward. We'll wrap up Best of Padres in the 11 a.m. hour. Highlights from the 2024 season, little holiday gifts, kind of our advent calendar we've been opening for you.
Yes.
And some Merrill homers will pop out of that and a triple play. And, the big plays down the stretch as the Padres made it to the playoffs. And then we'll, stop it right there. Padres won a round in the playoffs.
I don't even remember what happened. I'm just kidding. I do remember.
They had a winning record. That's what I remember. They had a winning record in the playoffs. 4-3.
You can kind of stop, the holidays, Padres at, after the wild card.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Boom.
Cut it off.
And let's go on to the new year. So we'll do that at 11, at which point the show will accelerate wildly through the end. At 12 o'clock, we'll have your weekend preview, 12 o'clock Sports Fix. We will play our final silly game of 2024 at 12:40. That'll be Anybody Knows. Can you beat Annie in crazy easy trivia that's sometimes harder than you think? find out. And if you do, you'll be the last person entered out of our show to go to Vegas for March Madness. At 1 o'clock, he was just in the building. We were just chatting with him off screen, so to speak.
Yes.
But the head coach of SDFC, Mikey Varas, will come back and join us on the phone, I'm sure, at that point.
Yes, that's going to be a phoner.
Yeah, because, I mean, for good reason. He shouldn't hang around here in the Odyssey Palace all morning. They have the Super Draft, soon.
He could draft from here, though.
He could. I was
Performance
why doesn't
Center
he
would be a
just come
great
on now?
war room.
And then I learned the Super Draft. Plus, he just went on with Ben.
He was
and
just
Woods.
on with us.
But we get to get him after the Super Draft.
Exactly.
I'm with Braden. Why don't they just do it here?
Yeah, it's a great war room in there in the Performance
Come
Center.
back, Mikey.
Yeah, like a fantasy football draft. It'll just be, him on his laptop, like, hey, guess what?
He's got Cafe Adesso.
He's gonna have-
He's got Senior
yes.
Grubbies.
He can have Adam like looking over behind the glass every once in a while. Like,
Hey, do you need any help?
Yeah,
That's right.
You want to run anything off me? Bounce any ideas off me?
Yeah, I think Michael Penix would be great in this spot. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, wrong
Hang on.
wrong football.
Yeah, wrong football.
He's just picking a bunch of Georgia Bulldogs.
This is Georgia's #1 rated college player, Mikey, because this is a college draft today. So we'll find out. We get news with Mikey when he comes back on.
Yeah, and
Who do
really
you
cool
got?
for them to come by, and they were on the set.
Yeah.
With Ben and Woods and Polly, but really cool for them to stop by and deliver the jerseys and say hi, meet everyone. So that was cool.
Yeah, this is an organization that's coming together. So it's really interesting because on one side, it's like, well, here's this new organization, new people. They're trying to forge new relationships in San Diego. On the other side, it's like, this is Major League Soccer. Yeah. We're going to have LAFC and Galaxy and all of these teams coming into town over the course of next year. And we're right in the middle of it. Our Chroma Azul is right in the middle of it. So we'll be covering it all next year with you. And Mikey Varas, very excited to have him back on the show at 1 o'clock. Also excited to be welcoming in for the final time in 2024, Media Melanie in the 1 o'clock hour. Earlier this week, we got together on the old... Well, it was actually on StreamYard, I'm pretty sure. But on her show on YouTube to reveal our top 10 TV shows of 2024.
Yes.
We had only 3 carryovers between our two lists. There was only 3 shows that appeared on both lists.
Yes.
So part of that is because many of the ones that she really liked, I never saw, and vice versa for her. It's so hard to watch everything these days, isn't it?
Oh, man. So many options, too.
But we will not give you all 10 at 1:20. Would be too long a segment. We'll give you 3. We'll just give you our top 3.
And then you can direct back to Media Melanie's podcast where you did do all 10.
Exactly. And then, after the show, you can go check out the whole list.
You get a little teaser.
Some honorable mentions, all the rest.
Christmas appetizer.
Exactly. And
Holiday
hey,
appetizer.
just slice it off the top of the cake is basically what it is. Oh, you just want to know the top 3? Here they are. So we'll do that at 1:20. We'll wrap up with one last edition of Ask Us Anything, and then we will go down that elevator, and away we go for the holidays. Can't wait to do it. Absolutely. What's going on right now in the world of sports San Diego-wise? Well, we got San Diego Sockers playing later this evening. We got the Seals tomorrow night. The Clippers are in Florida. If you have any interest in any of those teams, good on you. Aztecs play at Cal on Saturday at the SAP Center, actually. They play in San Jose. Neutral site game.
Sap.
For the Aztecs and Cal. I told you the story of the SAP Center before, didn't I?
I don't know.
It's the home of the Sharks.
Okay.
Built for the Sharks. Brand new arena when it came in.
Built by sharks?
It was, in
By
fact.
sharks,
It was
for
a
sharks?
Sharknado. It was a Sharknado that created it.
Is Left Shark there?
I said, well, only on one side of the building. He's only left in the other side. No, so they built this brand new palace for the, at that time, expansion San Jose Sharks. It's the only professional sports team in San Jose. It's this incredible thing. It's still, a great facility. As you can see, they're using it for basketball, too. Funny little thing. They forgot when they built it to build a press box. They just literally forgot.
Whoa.
They forgot.
You would think at some point during the construction,
Yeah.
it might. I wonder if it rang a bell in someone's head and they're like, you know what, better just to not say anything right now and pretend.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, how do you forget to build a press box? That's how much the media matters, everyone. Not at all.
Same thing happened at Cathedral when they first built the school. They built the football stadium, and then they didn't put a box on top.
Yeah.
And they're like, where's the press box? And the contractor's like, what are you talking about? It's like, there needs to be where do you put all the stuff? He's like, yeah, no, I can't put a press box here. And they're like, why? And the guy said, because it would block the view of the valley from the library. And the school's like, build a press box.
Incredible.
Apparently, it happens more times than you think.
Yeah,
Annie.
maybe
It's
more than once.
funny because everything has to get up the chain of command,
Yeah.
and so how many people missed it? As it went up the chain.
I'm
of
gonna
command?
wager a wild guess, but it's not even that wild a guess, that the people who were involved in the design weren't involved in sports.
100%.
That they just were wonderful architects that just didn't work in sports and have the innate thoughts about what you need in a sports arena. So the solution was they created a press area, including the broadcast area, and it is literally in the rafters where the lights are.
Oh no!
You go to the top floor.
They probably did this on purpose.
You go to the top floor of SAP Center, and then you go to like one particular staircase. It's almost like a speakeasy. Like you got to know what door to go through.
Right.
And
It looks like it goes to nowhere.
Yeah. You go into this staircase and you're already at the top floor. It's like, well, and then there's this other door. And you go through this other door, and then you go across a catwalk.
Oh, no,
and
no,
that takes
no.
you to the press area.
So it's not even like a straight shot on the elevator?
No.
And I bring that up, too, because if you're on deadline or you're doing something that requires, like, you got to get to the clubhouse or the locker room right after a game or whatever. Yeah. When that situation is the way the situation is, which is at a lot of the older stadiums, too, it's like that. It's like really hard to do, and you've got to fight through the fans and the elevators because you don't have a designated elevator, and so there's all these logistic problems just like for journalists. But on top of it, like they stuck you in the rafters.
It was so high up. I mean, because when I found out about this all of course when I was working for the Gulls, and the Barracuda of the AHL also played there.
Barracuda.
Exactly, and they play the song. Of course they do. And so like I had this great big suitcase of radio equipment.
Oh,
no. In addition to my satchel of like broadcast
that
stuff.
That would be Sammy bringing up all his equipment.
Right. And it was like clunk, clunk across this catwalk. And then you got up there and it was literally like, I could walk right there and swan dive to center ice. Like that's how high up you were. You were like eye level with the lights.
It's essentially as far away from the ocean, which is like the floor, the ice, as you could be for a team full of sharks.
It was really hard. Yeah,
works out.
It's flying sharks.
Flying sharks.
Yeah, but so it was very jarring to look all the way down.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to look. So where's like the press box food? Where's like the restrooms
There would just be
up
a
there?
little folding table back there.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a restroom there. Like they created at least area, but it's just so high up. So
and such a
up.
pain to get to.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a pretty funny story.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, you want to go to the press box?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what to do. You go to the fourth floor, then you ask for the guy named Fred, and you say,
make sure you knock 3 times.
The owl only crows at night, and then once you go through the right secret door, you will find the press box.
Well, and once you go to the press box, you better be ready to just stay in the press box until the end of the game.
Yeah, and if
There's
you're
no
afraid
running
of
back and
heights,
forth.
just stay a little back in the press box. Don't lean over the rail. I mean, I would suggest it. Okay, we are underway. When we come back, college football playoff begins tonight, continues through the weekend. Let's go through the games. It's kind of a back-to-back Braden's football segment, but this one, college style. Let's go through the games and see what we think. I already know what Braden thinks about one game. He's wearing it. Volunteers.
How much did you spend on our Christmas presents?
$20.
Or I was going to say, please tell me not a lot.
20-ish.
Because I did
$20.
bring something for you guys, but it's not really like a present. It's just like a little something.
I mean,
Did you give me a burrito from the
Did you get me some cafe? Did you go all the way to Alpine to get me some cafe adesso?
That's right.
That is so thoughtful of you.
Because I thought I was honestly, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not doing an anniversary gift because that's just weird. But I will give you
show-anniversary.
Show-anniversary.
Don't.
Either way.
I know. Fear of commitment.
That's too much eyewash for me.
Got it.
But
exactly.
I
eyewash.
did get you guys a little something, so I feel like I should just give you now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what do we got here?
I didn't wrap them because I just.
Well, why would you wrap them?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Craig, I got avocado socks.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
I love that.
They're good luck socks too.
They're 100%
Yep.
winning streak socks right here.
And Braden, I got dinosaur socks.
Yes.
Christmas dinosaur.
It's kind of dinger.
For Dinger. They didn't have
Dinger.
Dinger
Triceratops.
socks, but it was just.
Oh, no.
It's right next to
Also
anybody
can't
knows.
throw.
That's a
You'll get it.
foul.
Yeah, that's
Ruben,
fair.
where are you?
More like a turnover, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Out of
It
bounds
is a
toss.
turnover.
Yeah, I kind of completely missed Braden.
Travel.
I didn't even overthrow.
Amazing.
I just didn't throw
Amazing.
far enough. So, anyways,
Thank you very much,
yeah, that
Annie.
is just. But that's about the amount I spent. So I hope it's not more than that.
No, I would assume it's about the same. I mean, it's something not dissimilar.
Okay.
Yeah, something not dissimilar
Good to know.
is the best way I'd put it. No one got a Porsche. Not yet.
Bummer.
Not
Well,
yet. We need to get
The sales staff
need to get
be-
re-upped
You're
first.
Right. It would have been funny if I went and got some of those burritos. And I'm like, here's your Christmas
Here's
gift.
your
Right.
Christmas
No,
gift. We got you
I
some
absolutely
coffee
love
too.
that.
Some coffee. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
And mini donuts. I know you love the mini donuts. We
Right.
talked about it on the show. I know you love it, so I got it
three
for
different
you.
flavors. I got you this delicious, highly caffeinated Cafe Adesso drink.
Yep. Annie is Annie from FGBG. No. Darn it.
FBGB.
FBGB.
Yeah.
FBGB.
Okay.
You got me some pastries from her too, I heard.
I think
I
I
didn't
missed
see
where
any of
those
those.
are, but
Yeah.
I'm sure that they were very popular.
Yeah.
They're always a hit.
Well, they
she
usually
does
just-
a great
yeah.
job. Yeah.
Frank brought some cheesecake. Paul.
Thank you, Frank. It was everything I always wanted. Yeah, he told me that, and I go, so did you make it and not eat it? Because like Frank's weight loss journey, Frank right now. You know, that's got to
Yeah.
be tough
He
Yeah.
makes the custard
to
too.
make the sweet that you don't eat. It's a
really
tough
good.
one.
He brought it
Did you?
last year.
Is
and
it
it was
good?
awesome.
Is it good?
And especially with the custard.
This is just going to be the worst diet day for me.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
on a diet.
It's your
I
first
mean,
day at Bragg.
I just mean, what I eat today is probably not going to be the best.
It's all right. That's what the holidays are for.
Probably not going to be the best. I did wear sweatpants to work, so I guess that fits. All right, we're going to be right back. We're going to talk football, and we're going to keep rolling on the final edition of Annie and Elsten right here. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:22 on the Fan. Welcome back, everybody. Annie Halpern, Craig Elsten, Braden Soprano with you on the Annie and Elsten program. What a fun, festive day here inside the Odyssey Palace. So many people here. Just saw Sammy Levitt. Frank Marchese made some custard. It was delicious. I just ate custard. I told you I'm going to have the worst just calorie day. But anything
Don't you
small
have stuff
doesn't
going
count.
on tonight?
I got a soccer match.
Are you doing the sound too? Is that after?
No, that was last night.
Oh, that was last night.
That was last night. Yeah.
It's good to see them out there, though. Good to see Sammy. Good to see Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Adam's out there. And Frank is like a baker.
Frank
Or
is
like
a baker.
Bake and bake.
Yeah. He's like not eating it, but he's like baking it for other people,
He's
which
making
is awesome.
it. Yeah. He's putting his heart and soul into the food.
Yes.
But just not the food is not going into him.
Yeah. Based on what you're eating today, Craig, you might need to get one of these Cafe Adesso coffees on the way out before you fall asleep on Interstate 5.
I
driving
mean,
up to Oceanside
seriously,
tonight.
man.
Get highly caffeinated, buddy.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. No, I gotta be careful.
Falling asleep there, big dog.
I think this one might be the Joe Musgrove, the 44 drink, because I feel like it has vanilla.
There's vanilla in it, yeah. She had vanilla. She had
This
a vanilla
is his
Holy
signature
cow.
drink. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
the
That's
job
the
it
one.
It's like a, I'm going to mess it up, but it's like a vanilla cream cold brew or something. Do you have a signature drink anywhere?
Nowhere.
Neither do I. Braden?
No, probably not.
You know, actually though,
Not yet. Anybody want a NIL
right.
sponsorship?
not that anyone cares, but I've gone to black coffee. I made that change a couple years ago.
I've been doing that for a while now.
So is Braden, yeah.
And now I just wouldn't go back. Like I want to know how it tastes black. You know what I mean? That's
Well,
the
you know
taste
what
of the coffee.
That's probably why it tastes
Wow.
so delicious today.
Pause, indeed. Saw it
I didn't
as it
say
went
it.
by. Okay, got it.
He draws the foul.
Saw it as it went by.
I decided, you know what? It's a family show today.
So
I mean,
today
it
it is.
was
Yeah,
supposed
today.
to be, and then
It's gonna
Today it is.
here I am.
Family show.
But I do enjoy. Yeah,
No, I've been doing that
El
after I did
Cafe
the
Negro.
after I did the water fast.
Right.
I've been on black coffee since.
Once you get used to it, it's great.
Yeah, the first couple times like and
Right.
then after that you're like, oh, it's not too bad.
But it
thought
does
your
make you an aversion to bad coffee.
You could taste it a lot
Yes,
more,
you can
right?
definitely can.
Yeah,
you
'cause
definitely can. Well, but you really appreciate good coffee
Yeah.
at the same
100%.
time when you taste the
100%.
the coffee we have here is actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, we have a good coffee
Agreed.
maker here at the
Yeah,
Odyssey
100%.
Palace. Just don't have enough cups. That's all.
Another reason why I don't have cream because they don't have creamer here anyway. So it worked out.
With this preamble now complete, let us turn our attention to the world of sports, ever so briefly. And let's get into the college football playoff, guys. Here comes the big... There it was.
There you go.
All right. College
Excitement.
football playoff. I am legitimately excited for the college football playoff. I just want to make that clear.
Who wouldn't be?
Right?
Of all these years of what would college football be like if it had a playoff, like an actual playoff? This would be really cool. Finally get it.
Here we
Yeah.
have it. Here
To
we
an
have
extent.
it.
Point.
We'll pick at the things and pick at the stuff. They'll change it along the way. But we've got 12 teams. The team that's angry to be left out is the 13th best team in the
Not the
world.
fifth.
So like,
Correct.
move along. Lose one less game next year. Talking to you, Alabama.
Don't lose to Oklahoma.
Yeah, don't
stinks.
don't lose too many times in the SEC.
You know,
so
losing
sorry.
losing in Nashville is not very. That's not recipe for success.
No.
Losing in Vanderbilt.
Not a recipe success for the river either. They threw goalposts in.
That's right.
It's bad for the,
The
river.
Tennessee Rivers right now, a lot of goalposts in them.
Right. Wouldn't it be great if those just keep floating by somewhere? They just resurface every so often.
That's the Cumberland. It goes all the way to Knoxville. I'm sure it's the same. It's just floating by.
Some kind of omen.
That'd
That's
be
right.
amazing. I'd write that into my film script. First round games played tonight and tomorrow. Just one game tonight, though, on ABC. Indiana and Notre Dame battle for the upper Midwest here.
Yeah, sucks to be a Purdue fan today.
Notre Dame is just short of a touchdown favorite in this game. And the question I would ask is, what do we really know about Indiana? How much do we buy into Coach Cignetti's incredible year, Coach of the Year, the way that the team played, the near immaculate record they put together, or how much do we put into them going into the horseshoe and after a nice little competitive 20 minutes, not coming that close against Ohio State?
I think it's the same for Notre Dame too. I'm not a huge believer in the Irish. I'm never really a huge believer in the Irish, but I mean, the Irish beat A&M the first game of the year, and then after that is just a bunch of nobodies that they played, including Northern Illinois, who they lost to at home. If Northern Illinois can rock in there and get a victory, I don't know why Indiana can't possibly do that. Their next best win after that was beating Army and Navy. Those are Notre Dame's best wins. And then if it wasn't for SC throwing back-to-back 99-yard pick sixes, who knows? They probably should have lost to SC. So not a lot of challenges on the Notre Dame schedule. Indiana, a lot worse than Notre Dame when it comes to who they've played.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Florida International and Western Illinois and, sick, they beat UCLA. Who doesn't beat up on UCLA in this day and age? Charlotte, Maryland, Northwestern, Nebraska. I mean, Washington's bad. They haven't really, and the one challenge they had was Ohio State, and they lost. So this is the big question mark game, I think. But I think it's going to be good from a sense that it's the in-state, rivalry, if you will, to a certain extent. I know Notre Dame's got other rivals, and Indiana's not really one of them on their list, perhaps. But to go up there and beat the marquee team if you're Indiana would be a big deal. 6.5-point favorites are the Fighting Irish. South Bend is blanketed in snow, and so is Happy Valley. So you're going to see a lot of snow games this weekend in the college football playoff. How much does that play a factor? Indiana was hoping for the snow. They think they can ground and pound a little bit more than Notre Dame can. The thing with Cignetti, I don't know if I like or dislike Cignetti as a head coach. Guy talks a lot.
Oh, yeah,
he's very
does.
arrogant. Like when they got off to a big lead, start to the season, he was like, "Google me, I win everywhere I go."
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And then they trolled him on the video board at Ohio State when they beat his ass.
They Googled him.
Right? Yeah, Googled him. Hey,
At one.
yeah, 38-15, big dog. But I don't know. I think it's going to be. I think Indiana gives Notre Dame a run for their money, but I think Notre Dame wins.
Okay, Braden's taking Notre Dame. What do you think?
I
Annie?
think, yes, two very explosive offenses. The snow, what kind of factor will that be? I think Notre Dame is a bit vulnerable, too. Sorry, Woodsy. If they win, I'm happy for you, but I am also going Indiana.
Going Indiana. I like it. All right, so I'm breaking the tie on the show. I have been trained by my father not to root for Notre Dame, which is funny because then now I live in a Catholic house, and my son went to Catholic school. So
that doesn't mean anything. I'm tired of that narrative. I've grown up in a Catholic house my whole life. I hate Notre Dame.
You hate Notre Dame,
I
too.
hate Notre Dame.
So good.
You could be a Catholic and hate Notre Dame.
Okay.
You don't have to.
You don't
that's
have
right.
to.
See, that's what I don't like about Notre Dame. Well, you're Catholic. You should root for Notre Dame. No, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Am I going to root for every Catholic school? Give me a break.
I mean, right. You got to pick and choose.
I'm not rooting for Saints.
Exactly.
Modern day. You kidding me? I'm not a big St. John Bosco fan.
I'm going to be rooting hard for Indiana tonight, and I expect to be disappointed at the end of the night. I'm gonna say that in the battle of pillowweights, that Notre Dame advances.
I think Notre Dame advances at home. You have to remember, a lot of these stadiums are not built for snow because the season's supposed to be over by now. They don't have like the underground heaters that all the NFL teams have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids aren't used to playing in the snow because, again,
Right.
by the time you get to this point, you're playing in warm locations or inside.
Yeah.
And I agree with Brandon in the chat. When's the last time Notre Dame showed up for a big game? Well, I don't think we're there yet in this bracket. I think the next game's going to be their big game, but this one, I think they got the right draw to beat Indiana. Okay, let's buzz over to SMU and Penn State.
We are.
We are on to SMU. We're locked in.
We are
SMU.
Penn State. SMU.
Yeah. You like Penn State in this one?
Might
8.5-point favorites.
Might snow at this one, too.
It's already snowing. And
there you go.
there's already snow on the ground. Now, whether or not it sticks for tomorrow will remain to be seen. But early game, it's going to be very cold. Again, it gets cold in Dallas. It doesn't get that cold in Dallas. So snow might be a factor in this one. I think Penn State just has more horses than SMU does. SMU had a great year. They have a really good football team. I'm a little bit more concerned about SMU after they lost to Clemson because same thing with SMU. TCU didn't have that great of a year, and we're considered one of their better wins, which is a little concerning. So. I got Penn State in this one. I think they use the home field advantage. I think SMU keeps it close though. I think they might shock some people early, but I think Penn State wears them down late. I'll take the Nittany Lions.
Penn State has an outstanding defense. SMU has also a good one, but their defensive line hasn't been as strong against better offensive teams. I am also going with Penn State.
Boo. Morning game.
Sorry. Is that Cassavell I'm sorry to today?
He's
No,
a Penn
he
State
is
fan.
Penn
Oh, he's
State.
Penn
You're
State.
happy. He
Yeah.
likes
Cassie.
you. I'm trying to
Okay.
We are.
go. I'm trying to conjure a reason to go against him. All right, fine. Penn State goes through.
Yes.
Fine. Tennessee, Ohio State. This is the best one, probably. And
Vols.
obviously, Braden likes the Vols.
Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top.
How
Rocky
about the
Top,
weather
Tennessee.
situation there? Night game for Ohio State. They've been crying for a night game
It might
for the longest
exactly.
time.
Yeah, you finally get one. Here you go. This game's interesting because aftermarket tickets, 40% of the aftermarket tickets have been purchased by Tennessee residents, which is very interesting. Ticket prices have gone down. A lot of Tennessee fans are driving to the game. The drive is not too long. The thing about Knoxville, which is kind of cool, it's kind of centrally located where you could drive to all of these places. So, and their fan base travels. And they bought a lot of the tickets, and they want a checkerboard, the horseshoe and everything like that. In terms of temperature, it gets freezing cold. It snows in Knoxville. I mean, it freezes, it snows, it's miserable in the wintertime. It's like 30 degrees. They've been practicing in snow for the last week and a half outside in Knoxville because it does snow there. Temperature difference on Saturday between Columbus and Knoxville is a 6-degree difference.
Okay.
So
all
I don't
right.
think weather's going to be that big of a factor. Everybody always assumes that in the South it's going to be hot all the time. It's not. It does snow in the South, and Knoxville does get its fair share of snow. Tennessee's offense is probably the worst it's been in the last 3 years. They've had a lot better offenses, but their defense has definitely been the best in the last 3 years. With Heupel and company. Nico makes a lot of mistakes at quarterback. That's kind of a problem. But he's going against another quarterback in Howell that's kind of the same. So I think this is going to be the closest game of the bunch.
Yeah.
I got to roll with the Vols for multiple reasons. Obviously, my brother went there. We got a Cathedral Catholic Don on the Tennessee Volunteers. Shout out Jackson Moy playing defensive line for Tennessee, as well as they put him in heavy packages, too, down by the goal line.
Oh, you got that jumbo.
Go see number 51 out there, San Diego resident Jackson Moy. Go kick some ass for the Vols. So rooting for him. And I got Tennessee to win this one. I think they edge out Ohio State by a field goal.
Okay.
All the pressure's on Ohio State.
And Ryan Day.
Roster hasn't always lived up. Yes, and Ryan Day hasn't always lived up to the potential. I think Ohio State has a good chance of winning, but I want to go with the Vols because I would like them to win.
Yes, there you go,
So-
Andy. That's a good pick right there.
That's great. And
Some of us want to go to the Rose Bowl next week.
I think
in
it's
2
more
weeks.
entertaining too if
Yeah.
Ohio State loses, although not for their head coach. I feel.
All I know
Like,
is
kinda bad for
I
him,
hate
but-
Ohio State, and they always find ways to win. So this is a tough one. I'm just picking
if
the
Day
Vols
is
because
fired, he'll get another job. Won't he get another job?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I feel like he needs
yeah.
to move on anyways.
Ohio State never loses.
Ohio
these games,
State
What- yeah, you're right.
should be able to put aside losing the game, look and see this is our chance to win at home and go face Oregon, a team that we thought we were better than. We played them there. We lost on a field goal. We're going to play them at the Rose Bowl. We're going to beat them, and we're going to go on to the national semifinal. That's what Ohio State should do. That's what they should do. But they're going to lose instead. And then Day will be fired and bought out for $63 million or whatever.
Coach
He's
at
gonna be
high
fine.
school.
He's going to be okay.
Because I don't think they are able to put aside losing the game. I think losing the game
Oh, it'll devastate them.
is.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Once you
It'll be
lost
like-
to Michigan this year, I think that their heads are down here, and they may even look past, in a wacky way, Tennessee, going, well, we can get Oregon next time, and then wind up.
The trolling
Yeah.
right now on social media has been great because I follow a lot of Tennessee accounts. They've already relabeled the horseshoe as Neyland North, and then
Oh my gosh.
in the middle of on Google Maps, the middle of the O and Columbus says site of Tennessee flag plant. Like
Right.
the trolling is great.
Was the bill passed?
It's right. Yeah, Tennessee is ready. They're ready to. You might see
That's pretty good.
a civil war would break out between Ohio and Tennessee during this game. But I will say this: there is nothing more annoying than a Tennessee Volunteer fan. I'll tell you that right now. And there's nothing
Really?
more annoying than Ohio State fan.
I was just gonna
there might
say,
be some
like-
serious carnage in the crowd.
I can believe that.
These are two of the most annoying fan bases on
Just
the planet.
watch the gameplay.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for the mustard bottles to fly out of the sky.
All right, last one of the first round. We got to take a break. Clemson at Texas.
I'll take Texas. I don't think this game's gonna be close.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'd love to see
I
Texas
agree.
lose
Texas.
because horns down forever. man.
Right.
But I don't see Clemson doing it. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
Dabo can find something.
I might take the
hey, you know
points
what?
there, though. 12-point spread, that's a lot.
Clemson took their first transfer portal guy in like 2 years.
And Texas is just underwhelmed at a number of times.
They have good defense, right,
Yeah.
Texas? But
They do, but like they're the same thing as some of these other schedules.
Mm-hmm.
Texas didn't play a single team that had a winning record in the SEC, and the time they did was Georgia, and they lost twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
they played
Yeah.
the easiest SEC schedule you could possibly play, welcomed them into the SEC, and the team that they played that was good on their schedule beat them twice. So I could see that being a little bit closer. I don't see Clemson really
I agree.
competing. Texas
It's
is
just
favored
Texas,
by
yeah.
12. That game's on TNT, by the way, tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
We'll look at the second round when we come back. It's Andy and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan's brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings. Try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of a kick, check out the new Cajun sauce for a rich blend of spicy and tangy pepper sauce. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings Go. Today's show, powered by Cafe Adesso.
Yes, delicious.
That is right.
Delicious
Man,
cold
that's
brew.
so good.
You're going to see us at 1 o'clock. Either going to be super hyped
Yeah.
or asleep.
Hot brew for me, but
Yes, you took the hot brew,
I went
but
the hot
Braden
brew.
and I went cold brew, and it's delicious.
That's because I showed up with a hot brew. So
Also, took a little sliver of Frank's cheesecake.
Mm.
Holy moly.
so good. All right, here's what South Bend looks like.
solid.
Oh, wow.
Solid white. Just snow everywhere.
Yeah, White Christmas
The
here.
Coach Frank Leahy statue is draped in snow.
Tailgating is already in full force,
Well,
as you can imagine.
of course.
Oh, you
What
see
else
just
do you have
all
to
the
do in
alcohol
South
lined
Bend?
up.
Let's be honest. Oh, wow. The Cybertruck's there. Okay.
Football.
You need to
weather.
drink to keep yourself warm.
This is why I love college football.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How
on,
are those people
frogs
going to
are
get
gonna
to
be
7 p.m. local time?
Look at all the alcohol. It's
that's
a total bar.
That's a wet bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
Have you guys not been to a college tailgate? I mean,
It's like what every booth looks like.
it's like these tailgates are insane. Like I know like let's see the porta potty. Like how about the KFC flag? That's great.
That's solid.
Welcome to college football. Thanks to Ross Dellinger for posting all those pictures. The college football tailgates are just insane. They're way more fun than NFL tailgates. They're all like family based too. Like families have been doing it
Right.
forever. All I know is if I want a parking spot at Amon G. Carter Stadium to get tickets for TCU, that is like a waiting list, and it's like $2,000 to $3,000 a spot for like the season.
Brilliant.
And so people have been tailgating in those same spots forever. The college tailgate scene is awesome.
Oh, it is superior. I always loved the NFL tailgating at Qualcomm. I think that is one of the best stadiums ever in the world to tailgate at. But the college one, I mean, that is like, it's a whole different ball game, right? I mean, it's like alumni, and you're there forever, and
Generations of families that
Yeah.
have done that every Saturday, especially in this part of the country where you got nothing. Like as Craig said, what else are you going to do in South Bend? This is what they do every Saturday,
Yeah.
right? Or
It's
every
right,
other
it's a way of
Saturday, right?
life.
This is
Yeah.
this is what our family does in the fall and Saturdays. This is our big thing that we do. 6 Saturdays out of the year in the fall. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. We, in the last segment, picked through this weekend's games.
The first round.
By the time we get back together, the second round will be played. The New Year's Day bowl games, the big ones being co-opted into the college football playoff once again. Brilliant. This is the stuff we've talked about for decades. I mean, literally, Braden, I remember doing segments like probably when you were a toddler about, hey, why don't they make a playoff and then use the New Year's Day bowl games?
Yeah.
Because the whole time it was like, you can't infringe on the Rose Bowl by doing a playoff. No. Well, guess what? The Rose Bowl's hosting the second round of the playoff.
Yeah.
So it did happen.
Yeah, the thing that kind of stinks, obviously, is for the traditionalists. The only one that's really was the Rose Bowl being the Big Ten versus the Pac-12. With that going away, it's kind of a sad thing. But as long as the Rose Bowl gets to stay on New Year's Day and they can finagle it around the Rose Bowl, I think it's great. I would love to see the Rose Bowl just be the national championship every year,
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I think it's the best.
like they do for
locale.
college baseball, right?
Yeah.
All roads lead to Omaha.
Yeah.
You could have all roads lead to the Rose Bowl,
Yeah.
right? Everything goes to Pasadena. Everybody's
Yeah.
goal is to get and then in the semifinals and you win, you get the roses in your mouth and all that fun stuff.
Hey, I'd be all for it.
I would be totally
that's
for
cool,
it.
right.
That would eliminate them being on New Year's Day, but I would rather have. I think that'd be a
Uh-oh.
lot
It'd be a cool
cooler.
tradition.
Sorry, never mind.
Right.
Deal breaker. Can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or come back. But
well,
the Rose
then-
Bowl's got to be on New Year's Day. There's got to be the parade. It's got to be at 3 o'clock
Well,
so
they could
that you
push the
have the
season.
sunset in the third quarter. That famous sunset on the Arroyo Seco. I need this in my New Year's Day. I'm not going to
Sets
be
the
happy.
year off.
They could
right for you.
eliminate a lot
Yeah.
of weeks in the college football season. Everybody already gets 2 buys.
We're already moving all the bowls to preseason.
Right. That's
I think we're onto
Star
something here
rules.
as the college football czars. Some of us know ball.
You should ask them if they have like a suggestion box where we could write in.
We know ball.
You know?
That suggestion box is probably overflowing.
All right, we have 5 minutes to know ball about the second round.
All right,
so
second
let's
round
roll.
will start on New Year's Eve with the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Boise State awaits the winner of SMU and Penn State. I think all of us picked Penn State.
We did.
I think Penn State's better than Boise State. I think having to stop Austin Genty is going to be a problem for Penn State, but Penn State's going to have. They're going to have more dudes than Boise does. I think Boise State was a good story. I don't think they're better than the Big 12 champion. I don't think they might be slightly better than Clemson, but watching the Mountain West play this year and seeing Boise State in a dogfight with Wyoming, I think Penn State might be too much for them. I'll take Penn State.
Give me the Broncos.
I'd love to see Boise State win, but
I know
State.
this is a little bit of a heart pick, but I think Genty's a true difference maker, and having all the time to rest up, he could be at full speed. And this is where I get into James Franklin territory.
SMU
Is the second round.
Boise State, Boise State.
Do they have the ability to make the adjustments? Meanwhile, Boise State's going to be prepping for them. They're going to be ready to go. I think this is going to be one of those crazy, close, wild, last-second type games. But I'm going to take Boise.
Yeah, I'm going to go magical with Boise.
Well, a lot of magic in Boise State history has happened in the Fiesta Bowl.
Thank you, sir.
Statue of Liberty?
I almost
Part 2?
said Statue of Liberty play to win it, but hey,
They've
how
had some
cool would it
memorable
be if they
victories down
did a
there.
Statue of Liberty play as an homage? And how much cooler would it be if Penn State wasn't prepped for that? Because they were just like, they're not going to do that again. Come on.
That's history.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
group
That's
of
old
5
time.
schools have done very well in the Fiesta Bowl. The underrated ones.
Let's go, Boise.
All right,
Okay.
so that's on New Year's Eve at 4:30 Pacific time. New Year's Day, you got 3 games. It starts in the morning with the Peach Bowl. Arizona State will be awaiting the winner of Clemson and Texas. I think Arizona State can beat Texas.
I agree.
Arizona State with Scatabo and their running game, their toughness, the way that they've made it through the schedule. They were picked last in the Big 12, and they've looked really good as of late. I like Arizona State against Texas. Again, same thing with what we talked about with the Texas Longhorns. They might even have Quinn Ewers this weekend against Clemson, so who knows where they're going to be by the time they play Arizona State. I like Arizona State, even though it's a 4-5 and Arizona State's a 4, I would consider that probably an upset in the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a good one, but I'll go Arizona State too.
Well, then I will take the betting chalk, and I'll take Texas in that game. I don't know. Maybe Arizona State's happy to be there. Maybe they had an incredible late run.
Too Cinderella-y for you?
Yeah, just Sparky. I don't know. I'll go Bevo over Sparky on that one.
Rose Bowl is the second game of New Year's Day.
This is the game.
Oregon awaiting the winner of Tennessee and Ohio State.
Braden's Ducks.
Quack.
Okay, I'm going Oregon.
I think Oregon's better than both. I think I think Oregon matches up well against Tennessee. I don't think I think Tennessee matches up better against Ohio State than they do against Oregon. If Tennessee were to beat Ohio State, I think Oregon gets Ohio State a second time. If Ohio State wins, I'll take the Ducks.
The one Rose Bowl that I got to attend in my life
Oregon Ohio State
was Oregon Ohio State. Terrell Pryor was the Ohio State quarterback, and as I remember it, Oregon won. We were in an Ohio State
Well, in that
area.
case.
But I may sound a little goofy. I think I think Oregon is a better team. We all picked Tennessee to go through, although I said Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State should make the semifinals. The roster of that team, the talent of that team, they should make the semifinals. They should beat Tennessee at home, and on a neutral field, they have already proven they're the equal of Oregon earlier in the year, and I could see them winning. But seeing as I've already said they're going to lose in the first round, I will take Oregon's familiarity with being in Pasadena. This is a place they've played many Rose Bowls. This is a place the program understands, and I will take Oregon to hold what I would call their kind of ersatz home field there at the Rose Bowl.
Sugar Bowl's the night game. Georgia, without their starting quarterback in Carson Beck, he will not play in this game. Will be their backup. Maybe it gives them enough time to get prepared. And usually when good teams have time to prepare, they usually do really well. Georgia's taking on what we all think is going to be Notre Dame. Well, 2 of us do. Somebody said Indiana. I got Georgia winning regardless.
I do too. I got Georgia winning.
I think the Bulldogs' trenches are better than every team in the country.
Well, I thought they would overpower Notre Dame. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think
this
they
is
are.
probably not the game where the quarterback matters.
Yeah.
For Georgia.
Pound the rock.
Yeah, I think in the championship, the
Big guys go.
The quarterback will matter a lot for Georgia. And when we get there, if they get there, I'll probably be picking against them.
And then we'll pick the semifinals next show.
Yeah, we'll pick the semifinals when we come back. We'll find out who did best. And
January 9th.
Not that it matters.
And January 10th.
Exactly.
The Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. Winner goes to the
fun.
national championship.
This is really a lot of fun. And of course, I want all upsets.
I want all.
I love
upsets,
the
too.
upsets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for SMU. No, screw them.
Yeah, well.
I don't really know.
It should be
You
a
and
lot
your
of
weird
fun,
Texas
though.
loyalties.
Like,
I don't root for any of my rivals. You big. Like, see, you root for modern day Santa Ana or something.
No chance.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
hey,
but
hang
two
on.
big
Yeah,
days.
big
this
UC
weekend,
Irvine
right?
guy over here.
Hang on.
UCSD.
Oh, wait, whoa.
By the way, we got news on that game.
Foul on Braden.
That game, January 11th. That
Didn't even-
game on January 11th got moved to ESPNU.
Let's
It's a
go.
big game.
Put it on the U. They're selling alumni ticket packages. My buddy Ken Garten sent me the link.
I'm surprised
Why
they
aren't
have
you
money.
going?
Yeah.
Who said we're not? I think we're going.
I'll see you tomorrow.
We'll
USD,
tighten up.
UCSD.
Best of Padres next. Back with you on Annie and Elsten, hour number 2 of our Friday program. Gwen and Chris check in from 2 to 6. And then the final show of the year is a trip into Scrabistan.
Scraby takes us out. Scraby takes us out for 2024.
Before Santa.
What's going to happen?
I hope there's a studio here on January 5th when I come back.
Seriously. Before Santa, the ultimate Grinch. Mr. Scraby. Walking in all in black.
What did we call him? We called him Crotchet.
Yes, exactly. Instead of Bob Cratchit, he's Matt Crotchet. Matt Crotchety.
Working late, burning the midnight oil.
Yes.
He's going to be
Like,
crotchety.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Everyone else got a... I wonder if he got a jersey. What if he didn't get a jersey?
Oh, my God.
That would actually be pretty funny if they said,
I
like,
hope
deliberately
that's not
don't
the
give him one.
case.
No, that's not funny.
It would be pretty funny.
I'd get a chuckle for like a little bit.
I mean,
just as long as he got one eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, if this is a better skit than the Charlotte Hornets. It's if everyone else got one and then he was like, what about me?
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, that
they-
could be
what about
his
me?
daily
What about
gripe.
me?
Or they
What
put
about
his
me?
they
What
put
about
his
me?
they put his first name on the back of the jersey. It just says Matt.
Matthew. Only my mom calls me Matthew.
That's right.
Yeah,
And I
well,
decapitate chairs.
we'll find out what happens.
I found that chair, by the way.
Did you?
Where
Yeah,
It's still
over,
here?
It's over in the engineer
in the-
area.
Oh
my
It's in the
gosh.
infirmary.
In the graveyard?
Yeah.
Are they working on it, or do you think it's just going to disappear one day?
Yeah, I might turn into a Franken chair. It's over there. It's getting worked on.
Well, we're here with you today.
Taking a long time.
That's a 2025 project.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
I wonder what he did to
let's
it.
shelve that
it
for the
to-
new year.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what he did to the chair. What torture techniques he might
Right.
possibly have in Scrabistan.
Right. We are here with you on 97.3 FM radio. We are in your car radio right now. We are on Odyssey, the app that streams worldwide. It's free to download, by the way, free to use. And if you're there, leave us a voice message. We can play them later in the program. We'd look forward. We'd love to have 15 great voice messages, and we'll hit play in the last segment. We'll let it roll. So send it to us if you're there. We are a podcast chopped up for you for future dining. So to anybody listening to us in the future, thank you for being there and supporting the show. We had a great day today. Thanks for thinking of us. Leave us a 5-star review if you are thinking of us, and a little written review. That's a nice one. Really appreciate it. Helps us. We are on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. Great to see you. As you mentioned, we saw some of our favorite YouTubers and chatters
Yes.
today. Coming in for the Christmas Spectacular with Ben and Wood. So great to see everybody. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, however and wherever you are consuming Annie and Elsten. Okay, we have picked through our first 2 rounds of the college playoff. That's coming up this weekend. That's exciting. This hour, we turn our attention, as we normally did all year long, in the 11 a.m. hour, to baseball. It became something of a tradition in our first year of Annie and Elsten. You create new traditions, right? You can't ever say something's a tradition. It's created, and then you look back and you say, yeah, that's what we do.
Organic.
Organic. That's the word. So before it was like, let's create a trade in the 11 a.m. hour. Guess what we have to do in January, guys?
We don't have to do anything.
We don't have to.
Right.
I got the foul counter now.
I mean, hey,
Trade proposal
I
guy.
got the resistance to it last year because it was just nothing was happening. Now we all know, like we literally heard from AJ yesterday from Cass that they're going to make a trade. So as opposed to making up trades, we can think about the guys we think might get traded and then
Worse than Wayne
Okay.
Braves. Let's
kind
make a
of
deal.
kind of work around those guys. But anyways, that's later.
That's in 2025.
That's later. That's so much later. We don't mind. This is where all season long we did the deep dive hour. We brought you the looks inside the club, inside the stats, inside the clubhouse. I think you got more like concentrated Padres content on Annie and Elsten from 11 to 12 than you did about anywhere. I think I'd plant my flag at center field on that. I think that we did
That's
more.
a felony.
Well, depends on where. Depends
Oh
on
my
where.
God.
Depends on where. So,
How is that not a foul?
what?
He draws the foul.
On what? What did I say?
Let's go to the review board from Annie.
I don't even understand. I thought we planted the flag in center field, like in the middle of the field, like Ohio State.
Yeah, I got the reference.
Oh,
I don't. Let's continue.
okay.
Yeah.
Someone out there can tell me what I said. All right, so we wrap up our baseball content for 2024 with Best of Padres wrap-up edition. Does Andy get a foul for arguing with the ref?
No, she
That'd
does not.
That'd be a T. That would be a no.
No, she does not.
That would be a no.
We're going to let it slide.
Got it.
Big game, last game of the year. You know, I got to give some leniency to
Right.
the arguing.
That's fair.
You know,
A lot of emotion involved.
that's exactly it.
Okay.
Longer
In
leashes
this
today.
segment of Best of Padres, Merrill Madness. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, how there was this one period of time during the season, and that period of time was kind of early August, where it just felt like every game, and if not every game, twice a week, Jackson Merrill was coming up in the bottom of the ninth or the bottom of the eighth with a couple runners on, down a couple runs, and he would hit a tank.
He was clutch.
Yeah, I mean, this kid who we really thought, and I mean, not just like me or any doubter, but like the Steamers projections, the scouting reports, it was like, well, you know, Jackson Merrill might hit 30 homers in his first 3 seasons in Major League Baseball.
He's got the pop.
He had 25 homers in his first season. In his first season, he went from a guy that we thought was all slash, all opposite field. Yeah. He might turn on one once a month, you know, to all of a sudden he can hit it out. He can bomb it.
And he can do it in very high leverage, pressure-filled situations.
Yes, he's not making the moment too big for him. He's keeping his swing, and he's getting results. This is the Merrill game. If you had to pick one game as the Merrill game, I think you pick game 115, Wednesday, August 7th, PNC Park. How did it go? Jackson Merrill hits an early homer, then has an RBI single as well to give the Padres a multi-run lead. But the defense didn't show up that day. Errors by Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado opened the lead in the middle of the game. Pittsburgh takes a 6-5 lead. They hold that lead through the middle innings, through the late innings, to the 9th inning when the guy we traded them for, Joe Musgrove, many years ago, came in, Bednar, for the attempted save. And in the top of the 9th, down by 1, who are we just talking about? You know who's coming up. It's Jackson Merrill.
On down by 1, swings at the first pitch, sends it in the air, deep to right center field. Taylor is back. This one gonna go! Jackson Merrill's second homer of the night has tied it 6-6 here in the 9th.
The other thing that made it such Merrill magic is he was always coming to the plate in those situations.
Right?
There was there was no golden at bat. Mike Schultz didn't get to pluck him from the dugout and say, "Hey, it's your turn, Jackson." He would just be there in an opportune way.
Great argument against the golden at bat.
That's right.
That is outstanding.
None of those
100%
moments would
right.
have happened.
Right.
100% right. In the top of the 10th, after forcing extra innings, the Padres took the lead. Xander Bogaerts made up for his error.
Nobody out, 1-1, line into left field. That is a base hit for Xander Bogaerts. Arise rounding third, he'll score. Kim gonna hustle into third base as the throw comes into second. An RBI single for Xander Bogaerts, and the Padres are back in front. It's 7-6.
And they would tack on 2 more in the top of the 10th. The final run coming in on a Jackson Merrill sac fly. And that 9th run proved to be the difference because the bullpen wobbled horribly in the 9th. Adrian Morejon came in, wound up with the bases loaded, and he got out of it and got his first career save and ended the game 9-8. Padres beat the Pirates in the Merrill game.
Merrill game.
The Merrill game. Tanner Scott got the win in that game, and Jackson Merrill went 4 for 5 with 2 homers, 4 RBI, and 3 runs scored, and his then his 6th at bat was a sac fly.
Drove in another run. What more could you ask for?
Right. What more could you ask for, indeed? Brandon says, was that the rain delay when Cease only pitched 1 inning? No, Michael King started that game, 5 innings. It was just unearned runs that killed both King and then Estrada came in, and there were errors by Bogaerts and Machado, and it led to them falling behind. So that's Merrill game. Then the road trip continued. Padres wound up sweeping Pittsburgh at PNC Park, and they went on to Miami. The first game, August 9th, They won in 10 innings again. They got 4 runs in the 10th inning and won 6-2. But we bring you to the second game of the series, Saturday, August 10th, Lone Depot Park, the Padres and the Marlins. Fast forward, we will go right to the 8th inning. Padres are trailing the Marlins 7-6 when Jackson Merrill comes to the plate.
Here's the pitch. Merrill swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. Brujan is back. He has done it again. A 2-run homer for Jackson Merrill to tie it. The first home run allowed by the Marlins here this afternoon. It is a game-tying shot in the 8th inning, 7-7.
You could just hear in each one of these calls how Jesse's building up because he just can't believe that it happened again.
Well, I think that was everybody, right? We were all kind of like, he can't do it again. He's not going to do it again, right? And then he would. And it was like a 2-week span, like you mentioned yesterday, that just seemed to happen every game or every few games where he would be at the plate at the right time and he would come through. And he would do that throughout the season, but there was that stretch that it just seemed like it was happening all the time.
This game actually kind of bounced back and forth because Jake Berger homered. The Padres took the lead on an Arise infield single, and then Berger hit a burger, and it was 8-8, and then they made it to the extra innings, and then you might remember the Marlins chose not to make a play at the plate and let a Luis Arise ground ball be the go-ahead, and Tanner Scott came in against his old team and shut the door.
And every time you talk to Jackson Merrill about it in the clubhouse, he'd essentially just be like, some way of saying, I love to play baseball, but it wasn't like a cliche way of saying that. It was just like, hey man, this is like what makes me so happy. I love to be here. I love to be playing. Let's go win a game. And there'd usually be like an expletive or two in there. And you felt like that was just, he was just in his element.
When we come back, our next 2 stops on the route to the triple play. Triple play is where we're finishing. Trust me when I tell you
Triple
that.
play, triple play, triple play.
Triple play.
A big addition that people were not looking at on trade deadline day comes through huge for the Padres, and history made, breaking a record that you almost couldn't believe hadn't been broken until now in Padres history. We'll get to those stories when we continue with Best of Padres on our final edition of 2024. Annie and Elsten back with you on January 6th, but back with you here after this quick timeout on The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. It's Annie and Elsten here with you on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Greg, on the reg, Greg tried to break in.
He did.
Yeah.
Think this is the match game or something, Greg?
He did. I think he was missing the match game.
Well, we miss you too, Greg. Happy holidays.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
He probably can't hear you.
Oh, you're right.
Probably really wanted the jersey.
Probably did.
By the way.
It says my name on the back, though, and yours.
Yeah, it would be weird for Greg to take
I
that.
think he just wanted his own jersey.
I think that'd be pretty funny, though, if he
Yes.
did.
He put a piece of tape on the back. With
Right.
Block it out.
On the reg.
On
that's
the
right.
reg,
On the
right.
reg. By the way, let's play a fun game. For either one of you, can you identify what's going on Craig's Christmas sweater today? Says Merry Flippin' Christmas.
Is that Batista?
It's Joey Bautista. That's exactly
It
right.
says Joey to the world.
Joy to the world.
Wow.
And that is the infamous, famous Blue Jays Texas 2015
That's great.
walk-off and the giant bat flip.
I remember where I
Merry
was for that.
Flippin' Christmas.
Me too. Me too.
Just finished practice at TCU.
Merry flippin' Christmas.
What a moment. Like that. I mean, that's a
I
cool
was 15, so that was...
Yeah.
Yeah,
link.
we just finished football practice.
Yeah.
And like most of the staff obviously were Ranger fans.
Right,
And so,
of
like,
course.
and their video lab was the one that had all the screens and monitors and stuff like that. And they're all watching the World Series. We're getting updates on our headset, whatever. And I walked in at the end of practice with my gear right in time to see Batista hit the bomb and then do the bat flip.
And have that look on his face.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else in the room was disgusted.
I mean, that
I was like,
yeah. That's a player that I think is a really underappreciated player in terms of he bounced around. He got released from Pittsburgh. Like, released from Pittsburgh. They didn't think he was that. And when he made it to Toronto, all of a sudden a 50 home run hitter, silver slugger,
And Rougned Odor and Joey Batista.
punched out. Oh, exactly.
Oh,
He got
Got punched out.
Sorry.
Got punched out. So,
Yes,
yeah,
that
well,
was
yeah.
the Rangers got the revenge.
Jose.
Well, that's where they got their revenge. But in the playoffs, that truly one of the most epic moments I've ever seen.
Yes.
And I think the best bat flip objectively I've ever seen.
That started the
was
bat
that
flip
one.
craze for sure.
It really did. The bat flip revolution began with Jose Bautista. Okay, with that,
Joey to the
Better,
world.
better than
Joey to the
That may
world.
be called-
better than
yeah.
the glove flip from Gratterall.
Yeah, way better.
That was cool.
Okay, Best of Padres continues. We only got 4 more stops, and then we are off the train. And we hope that you remember to pick up all of your personal belongings on your way out. Yes,
If you didn't, then you're gonna have to go through the holidays without him.
you will.
Yeah.
Game 122.
That one missed.
You know, it was too late. It was too forced.
He draws the foul.
Missed.
Fair.
Not
I
your
just shouldn't have
best.
even tried.
You've been better.
You know, I know.
We got to be
I know,
better. We got to
I
pick it
know.
up here.
We
It's
gotta-
last show of the year.
Wednesday,
standards.
August 14th, Petco Park. This one is more just to illustrate one of the big trends of the second half of the season, which was every move worked out.
Yes.
Every move worked out.
I like it when that happens.
I call them the 50-50 moves, right? Like just like catching a 50-50 ball. It's going to
Yeah.
happen sometimes. It's not going to happen other times. And usually that's how those kind of moves go. You hit on some, you don't hit on others because they are fringe moves. They're guys that are on the edge usually. And this year they hit on pretty much they hit on every single one essentially.
It's such a great point, Annie. And let me draw this back a little bit. David Peralta and Martin Perez. Okay? Yeah. David Peralta and Martin Perez. G-Man Choi and Rich Hill.
Yeah.
This is the same set of moves. It truly is the same set of moves. One completely didn't work. Yeah. The other brought you a banger of a fifth starter and a rock-solid fill-in in right field.
No, you're so right. Nelson Cruz and Matt Carpenter, Donovan Solano and David Peralta, I mean, it's not that far off, right?
Yeah,
like, it's not, it's all plausible that you're going to hopefully have a comeback year or a big year for guys that might have been up and down. Donovan Solano is the one that I'm like, why hasn't he really been held onto more?
Yeah.
And I just think it's just a matter of, like, I guess teams feeling like, well, we'll just grab another one like him, or we'll just, save that for last and he goes somewhere else. I don't really know. Maybe his age, but
I would say he plays power positions without power. So you play him at third or first. So there's a lot of organizations that would say, listen, we can't have a guy who hits 6 home runs or 8 home runs. I don't care if he hits 285.
Good point.
You know, we can't have 10 home runs on the hot corner. He's not a plus defender at any position. He's not a big guy, right? So every time we played him at first base, if you threw it a little high, he's off the bag. So you've got that. He doesn't bring speed to your team, and he's on the wrong side of 35. Those are the reasons why he didn't get a job. However, I really hope the Padres re-sign him because he is one of those beautiful, undervalued players in Major League Baseball. But yeah, that's the whole thing.
That's the whole point, right?
That's the whole thing. We signed 2 years ago an outfielder to $1 million contract, and last year an outfielder to a $1 million contract. 2 years ago, the outfielder signed a $1 million, got 5 at-bats, and was gone. The other one was an all-star.
And that's kind of how it goes. I mean, I think that's even how the front office sometimes views it. Like, you have belief in them, you want it to work, that's why you sign them. But a lot of times those kinds of players are coming off of an injury, or they're coming off of a down year, or like you said, they're on the wrong side of 35. There's just always kind of like a, well, if they can get back to form, or if they can get back to who they were 3 years ago, or whatever. And so this year, for them to have so many things work out, even I would say with your starting rotation, like the Matt Waldrons and Brady Vasquez when you needed him, and even sometimes Johnny Brito when you needed him, and who was there? Adam Mazer. So Adam Mazer didn't really work out, but
he had that one win.
Right. But essentially, that's what you're thinking about are guys that they're flyers kind of, but they all worked out for the Padres this last year. Very difficult to do, very rare, I would say.
So this particular game, the highlight we will play for you is the offense getting the tone set with an early lead. Jake Cronenworth with 2 runners on in the first inning.
1-1 from Keller. The pitch. Jake swings, hits it in the air, on a line, deep to right, towards the porch. Gonna go! 3-run homer for Jake Cronenworth into the Petco porch. And before the Padres have made an out here this afternoon, they've got a 3-0 lead.
Great way to get things started. That was against Mitch Keller. I remember going into this game and was like, well, hang on. You got Martin Perez on the mound against Mitch Keller. This could be a really tough matchup. Keller's really good. Blah, 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 blah. Padres just blew him out. Took an 8-0 lead, settled for an 8-2 win. And Martin Perez pitched into the 6th inning, gave up 1 solo homer, which is pretty much what he did all the time.
Yep.
He'd pitch into the 5th or the 6th. He'd give up 1 bomb. He'd walk almost nobody. He struck out 8.
He pitched nice and fast.
He really did, and I thought that Perez.
Don't do it.
I thought that Perez was yet another, put him on the list of, sneaky, excellent acquisitions this year.
I mean, at the trade deadline, where was the excitement? The excitement was Tanner Scott and
Jason
Adam and Brian Hoeing came over. That's cool too. And
guy you'd find at Costco.
Right, the guy you'd find at Costco. Right, Jason Adam also very, very good for the Padres. So I'm just in that brain dead funk. It's nothing that he did.
No,
he was very,
understood.
very good. And the Padres are still with him. He's still with the Padres this year. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, we got Hoeing for a while.
No,
and Adam too.
Yeah.
Adam for 2 more years.
But at that time, I mean, that was where all the excitement was. Perez was kind of like, well, he'll, what are you expecting to get from him? And, maybe he'll give you a few good starts and whatever. It just wasn't all that optimistic. And he ended up being like a very, very good addition to this rotation that needed it at the time, needed a veteran to come in, needed that left-handed pitcher, and needed someone who just kind of understood the assignment. Hey, this is a team that's trying to get to the postseason. He won the World Series with the Rangers the year before. He understood what he was there to do.
He did, and he was solid. And, I wish, in a way, he started Game 4 of the division series. I know a lot of people in the organization kind of just said, nope, it's not a matchup we want to see out there in a playoff game. We just don't want to see that matchup against the big right-handed hitters and Ohtani, who crushes lefties, and so they chose cease on 3 days rest. But he was strong. Now, I actually wonder, is that almost a parting blow? When you have a player like that that's come over to your team and done so well and posted up for you, and then you get to kind of his spot and you say, no, we're going to actually break tradition and have a guy go 3 days for the first time in his career.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if it's a parting blow. And I do believe that Martin Perez wants to stay in San Diego, and he really liked it here, and he really liked the rotation. He really liked the whole, loved the clubhouse. I think he felt good about being in San Diego and didn't feel like it was a deal breaker in terms of him coming back. Maybe that was the organization saying, we're not sure we're bringing you back, you know?
Yeah.
But I think what was hard, and what I had at least heard through a few different sources, is that he had been told he was going to pitch. And then it was changed to Dylan Cease. So I think that can be a little bit difficult when you kind of feel like it's going to be your time and then it's not. And it kind of makes you wonder what the trust is in you from the organization, you know?
Yeah.
Now, look, the organization also has to make hard decisions. Maybe they looked at the splits, you know, obviously they're looking at stuff, right? They looked at certain things. They said, hey, we got to win here. We just don't think it's a good matchup, whatever. Like, that's totally, whoever makes that decision, that's completely justifiable on their end too. But yeah, I think that's a little bit painful.
Yeah, you, as we were saying at that time, you're out on the warship at that point. You're out to sea. So, whatever decision you make because it's life or death.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you get to the end, you don't want to stick with that. And I think that's where Martin Perez had to feel at the end of
Sure,
that.
and I mean, I still think, and of course, I don't know as much, hardly as much at all, as what goes into their decision making and what they know behind the scenes that we don't know. But the stats on going 3 days in a row, they do not benefit the pitcher
at all.
And we went through that at the time when it happened. And I also was just curious why they just didn't start him.
Yeah.
Start him, and then if he runs into trouble, move to the next guy. But and you can do that pretty easily because you already kind of have that mapped out. But hey, they had their reasons.
You ready for the ultimate what if? Because I thought we did a...
And the offense didn't score, yes, exactly.
Of course the offense didn't score. We
so
know
it didn't
the offense
matter.
didn't score. Nothing
Right.
matters. We're all dead.
Well,
We're
no,
all specks.
I mean, you are right. We should.
What?
This isn't on
That's a
Cease.
foul.
It's the offense didn't score. And,
They're not rain on the
kudos-
parade of the holidays.
Kudos to Dylan Cease for
Serious.
saying,
It's a
"Hey,
foul
I will
on
take
Brandon.
the ball."
It's a foul on Brandon in the chat. I mean, we get this in the chat every day. Someone brings
but
up
he is
24
right.
innings every day.
I mean,
they didn't score for 24 innings. We know.
Yeah,
we know.
Well, you better get used to that, big dog. You're going to hear that for the remainder of time.
We know they did. Okay.
TCU played
It
60
makes
in the
that
national
pitching
championship.
decision-
You're going to hear this all the time.
it makes it very because it wasn't the deciding factor.
Yeah.
It kind of is a nice cushion for that pitching decision because the pitching really ended up having nothing to do with it.
It had nothing to do with it. But I will tell you this. On the last Hot Tub of the year, we did favorite moment, least favorite moment. My favorite moment was yesterday's game, that 6-5 comeback.
Yeah.
My least favorite moment, I really thought about this. It's one of those things that you didn't think about at the time. I know we didn't really think about it at the time. And then it kind of clicked into me a week ago when I was going through the thought process. Was Joe Musgrove walking off the mound, Game 2, National League Wild Card Series against Atlanta. Least favorite moment of the year because what if, I know, unanswerable. I know, 24 straight innings. Mm-hmm. What if that Game 4, up 2-1, sold out, roaring crowd at Petco Park, and Java Joe's on the mound? What if that elbow holds 2 more starts? Just holds for 2 more weeks? And you get 1 more 5-inning shutout performance. I feel like Musgrove's energy on the mound is a difference maker. The synergy with city, with community, with culture. I just feel that when I thought, I'm like, oh man, that's the thing we don't talk about enough is we had 4 starters to get to the World Series. And when you go from 4 to 3 in the playoffs, you get stuck with these weird choices. A bullpen game, a starter on 3 days rest.
The Dodgers did make work.
Yes, they did. And we didn't make that choice. Mm-hmm. We could have tried that too.
But they also scored, right.
But they did score runs. But also we put a guy with 3 days rest out there who promptly gave up 5 runs, at which point it was kind of like, okay, well, there's still Game 5.
Joe definitely brings a presence to the mound and a dog, an edge in him that is undeniable. And I think, look, it was hard for Joe. I mean, Joe was in tears when he had to talk about not being part of the team for the rest of the playoff run. and having have that Tommy John surgery. So you know it meant so much to him. And like you said, you're never going to know, right? Like you're never going to know, even if Joe had went out there and pitched the game of his life, if at the end of the day the Padres would have won or lost. But
sure.
But yes, it was an absolute bummer to lose Joe, and I think it was a bummer for Joe. You know, he didn't want that to happen.
No, man, we miss him.
And he pitched on like half an arm hanging off his body.
Pretty much.
Until that point. I mean, he got him. He was able to get them to that point, which I don't know that they would have been able to do without him.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you back, Joe.
Yeah.
And you're such a big part of this community at all times, whether you're healthy or not. But we can't wait to see you on the mound. One more highlight before we go to break here and get to our final segment. I take you to game 146. We kind of fast forward through 20 or so middling games for the Padres. Remember that time they were just kind of win one, lose one? After they had the really hot streak, there was kind of a little patch of just
Yes.
And then we get to the home stretch. Padres on the road, September 10th at T-Mobile Park, and in the fifth inning, leading 3-2 with a runner on. In the sixth inning, leading 3-2 with a runner on. Manny Machado stepped to the plate and made franchise history.
Yes, he did.
Sure did.
Fires, Manny swings, hits it in the air to center field and deep. Rodriguez is back. He will watch. It's gonna go. Home run history for Manny Machado. His 164th in a Padre uniform. Now the most prolific home run hitter in the history of the San Diego Padres.
Great call, Jesse Agler passing Nate Colbert. One of the longest-held home run records in baseball history, Nate Colbert, with what, like 163 homers, the all-time Padres leader. And for decade after decade, guys would get close.
And then be traded.
Right?
Adrian Gonzalez.
Right there, traded. See ya, Phil Nevin, gone. Klesko, gone. Get out of here. But that's never going to happen with Manny Machado.
Manny's going to hold that, or Fernando's going to challenge him
Bingo.
for it, or someone's on the team is going to challenge it with a long-term contract. But otherwise, that's not getting broken.
It's wild to think that in the course of the next few years, Colbert could easily be fourth because Manny's already passed him. Tatis, not Formica is a guarantee. Healthy, he's going to fly past him.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy and put up the numbers and, have the opportunities to put up the numbers, and he'll be right there.
Absolutely. And you would assume that Xander Bogaerts, over the course of an 11-year contract, would crack 160 or so home runs, if not more.
Health permitting,
200, 220 home runs is what I would expect over the course of a contract like that. So I think all three of those guys. And then how many does Merrill hit, and how long does he stay here? So at some point, Colbert's going to fade like down the list. He'll be like 9th in the Padres all-time homer list, and people will forget that for like 50 years he held the record.
He held the record, and it was a low record.
Right.
It was a low record because
163.
Yeah, because no one, like you said, everyone got traded, and
Fernando's 9th, as you mentioned. Machado's number 1 now. Fernando's 40 behind Manny at this point at number 9 with 127, and then your next highest on the list that's an active player, I guess, is Jurickson Profar, at least on the team. Closest to have the team, he's got 51.
Boy, 51?
Yeah.
Wait, it dropped. Go through it. Who's right before him?
No, Manny, I'm talking about like players that are still relatively on the team. I mean, there's still active players on this list. Like Hunter Renfroe's got 89.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right, but Fernando's at number 9. I'm trying to go down the list. I mean, Juan Soto's 50th all-time in Padres history with 41 home runs.
Yeah, Fernando, if he had played 2022, he'd probably be on top of this list. But yeah, I mean, you just see these guys. Colbert 163, Gonzalez 161, Nevin 156, Dave Winfield left for New York at 154. He was 2 months from catching Colbert. And then he was gone. Gwynn 135. He wasn't known for homers. Will 134. Klesko 133. Toddy 127 and Cammy 121. Your top 10 all-time Padres home run hitters. When we come back, Toddy returns and offers new hope for the postseason and the all-time Padres play. The best single play in the history of the franchise. regular season edition?
I would think it's right up there for sure. If it's not the best, right?
Right? If it's not the best,
making
what's
history.
better?
Yeah.
If it's not the best, what's better? The highlight of the year as we wrap up Best of Padres. You got to unwrap your best gift last, and we're going to do that for you after this time out on the Fan. Don't let AI dictate your fantasy football playoff lineup. You better not do that. You're just going to wind up in fourth place. Instead, you should get bite-sized fantasy football analysis in your ears with the Sleeper King podcast, giving you all the fantasy insight you need in just 20 minutes a day. Every league has a Sleeper King. It should be you. Can you find a sleeper in week 15 in the NFL? Like,
No.
no sleepers remaining.
Yeah, unless, like, you pick up Kendre Miller.
Like, waiver wire picked clean.
Yeah, you're not finding a lot of impact pieces out there right now.
Well, maybe the Sleeper King's got one for you. Maybe they know some rookie who's about to start, at a skill position that hasn't played all year, but's going to get 100 yards this week. Find out. Sleeper King's available on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Every time I hear Sleeper King, I think of True Detective, the first season. The Yellow King.
The Yellow King.
I started rewatching that this week.
Every time I hear Sleeper King, I think of mattresses.
Yes,
I do too.
Also.
Right?
Also.
Like, come to the Sleeper King.
It's a good name for a mattress store.
I've got 4 Sleeper Kings on each corner here in Tucson, Arizona. Pick the one you want.
When you open your...
It's got to be Tucson.
It's got to be Tucson. When you open your best present, do you save the biggest present for last?
That's what I did when I was a kid till I got burned with the socks.
Yeah,
I
you
told
got
that
burned.
story.
Oh, that's
right. Yeah,
right.
you did.
I told that
remember
story.
Do you do that, Braden?
Do I wait for the biggest one?
Yeah.
No, I'm strategic on that a lot, especially because, as Craig said, sometimes
The socks will get you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You gotta be sly about it. You gotta kind of understand the size and shape of what you're working with.
And
I
like
try to
how
get
light
rid of,
it is. Like, did you shake it, the box, and realize it didn't sound like there was a lot in it?
I try to get rid of the bags first.
Yeah. Get rid of all the tissue paper.
Yeah,
The bags.
I don't need
Yeah.
the bags.
Yeah.
because then you're like kind of looking at it anyway when you're like waiting for your turn to open something.
It's a good strategy.
Get rid of the
Yeah,
bags.
I think the
Bags out
biggest
first.
present,
Bags go first,
the
yeah.
biggest present under my tree, I'll know what it is.
Well, yeah, because you're wrapping it and giving it to yourself.
Yeah. Are you gonna?
It's the
are you
game
gonna,
I bought on Black Friday. It's
yeah,
pretty big.
The gift you got yourself.
and
Are you
heavy.
opening up that first or last?
I mean, as Shota says in the chat, I mean, I can't be disappointed. I would,
This is a great point.
yeah,
How can you be disappointed if you give yourself your own presents?
right,
And you can open them in the order that you know is going to be right for you.
exactly. There's nothing but satisfaction in the process.
You know what you should do? I've really been thinking about this. Like, honestly, like, it's been infiltrating my mind, this whole thing of you wrapping your own presents and giving them back to yourself.
It really rattled Annie.
It
She's
really
in a
did
box
rattle
over
me.
here.
It really did rattle me. Maybe you need to buy yourself presents like early in the year and forget you bought them.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like wrap them. You have to wrap them
Yeah.
in like May or something.
Yeah,
And that way, like, you forget what it is you bought, kind of.
that would be interesting.
And what you do is you tell James, "Hey, there's presents in the storage closet.
Yeah.
Can you wrap those for me?
Yeah.
Just wrap them."
And then he'll look
Yeah.
up from his Nintendo Switch and go, "Okay, Dad," and then he'll never do it.
He'll never do it.
That's where you got to nag.
Or
Yeah.
Sammy will find him and tear all the paper off.
That's
you
true.
know,
The dog,
Oh
not
my
Sam
God.
Bobbitt.
Okay, listen, I'm not going to derail this segment. We're going to get to the triple play. I promise you. But as you know, I had a very busy, or maybe you know, but I think you know, I had a very busy day yesterday. I've got a very busy day today. Today, I'm going straight to Soccer's from here. Tomorrow morning is our family Christmas.
That's right. We've been doing
So
this.
yesterday, I had a big production Zoom meeting once I got home for tonight's broadcast. I went to the concert last night, and I had this one and a half hour window where I could wrap gifts for Saturday. And so I wrapped 4 gifts for Mitzi, and I wrapped 3 gifts for James, and I would have wrapped the rest of them, but I didn't have the boxes to put clothing stuff in.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know?
That's
those
always a
boxes.
bummer. Yeah.
So without those boxes, I'll probably
go get
give
those.
those gifts to them on the 25th instead. I'll just save those for the 25th because
Yeah.
my dad has boxes galore at their house.
There you go.
So
Boxes on boxes
anywho,
on
I
Boxes
put
Galore is next to Sleeper King.
it is.
It's a store in Tucson. On the,
or just,
Right
or
next to
maybe
Sleeper
it's just
King.
this. It's just all the stores on Main Street in Long Beach.
Pops up next to Spirit
Where
Christmas.
Craig, where
His
Craig
boxes
grew up.
galore.
That's right.
Boxes Galore.
So,
Boxes galore.
anyways, long story short, I'm at the concert last night, and then I get a text from Mitzi. The damn dog ripped open one of her presents,
Again?
and it had no scent in it. It was a piece of jewelry.
Didn't that happen earlier this week?
Her presents she wrapped for her aides.
Yeah.
He ripped through.
Can I just ask something? Like, are you leaving the presents in Sammy's, like,
Well, I mean, it was
line
under
of
the
fire?
tree.
Well,
It was under the tree.
I'm not sure what you... Expect Sammy to do. He doesn't know. Like,
why does he have to rip this open?
Because he's a dog.
It's a dog.
But it doesn't smell like anything. It doesn't smell like food.
Still a dog?
Doesn't have to rip everything to pieces.
Well, maybe if you sit
No.
Sammy down and explain to Sammy.
Explain Christmas presents to him. I'm
That
sure he'll
not
follow
allowed,
those
yeah.
directions.
That's a dog.
Anyways, that's what happened. So I got this picture. I get this picture, and I'm like, really? Jewelry? What do you want to pierce your ears now, Sammy? Like,
But was that a present for Mitzi?
Yeah.
I guess it was because she's the
Yeah.
only female in your house.
Right.
But, well, I guess you could.
I mean, I
okay,
could have
you
given
knew
James
that's what I'm saying.
jewelry,
right?
but, yeah.
But so now she knows what she's getting.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can I do? Sammy was the Grinch that stole Christmas. I mean, literally ripped the present open.
No wonder Sammy's not going to you to Long Beach.
Seriously, man. I mean, imagine the chaos. All right. We're wrapping up this segment, and then we will put it away forevermore. So we bring you the best of September now on Best of Padres. In fact, I'm skipping out of order. I didn't realize I did that. But we're going to go to September 4th, Petco Park. These are the last two important games, I think, to mention on the story of the 2024 Padres. Because the San Diego Padres were dealt a giant blow right in the middle of the season when Fernando Tatis Jr. left the team. And there was an open question whether he would come back at all. I mean, you remember that.
Yes.
In August, he was gone and almost forgotten.
He didn't think he was going to come back. I mean, the initial diagnosis was not good. He thought he might have to miss the whole rest of the season. It was devastating for him.
And yet, he worked at it. He did his due diligence. He came back. And then we had the open question. Well, what's he going to be when he comes back? He was kind of a little hobbled. Not a lot, but you would see a hitch in his giddy-up every once in a while. You kind of wondered, is Fernando going to be that guy for our team down the stretch? Well, his first chance to show it, he showed it. Game 141, September 4th, Petco Park, Padres and Tigers.
Oh, my.
San Diego in a 5-5 tie. A tie that would be broken in the bottom of the 10th by Fernando Tatis Jr.
The pitch from Foley, swung on, hit through the left side, and a base hit. Merrill rounding third on his way. Greens throws, got no shot, and Fernando is back. Tatis wins it for the Padres. They mob him on the left side of the infield. A walk-off single in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Padres beat the Tigers 6-5. They will take their brooms out here tomorrow night.
Factually, they lost on a grand slam the next night with 2 outs in the ninth.
And the brooms go back.
And the brooms, Robert Suarez took the broom and threw it into the fire, unfortunately.
Snapped over his knee.
Yeah, but the Padres won that game, their 80th game of the season.
That was when his shirt came off.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That was
Everyone lost their mind.
Yeah.
Females and males. Everyone lost their mind.
We all lost our minds in joy with what we saw. Okay, which brings us to the grand finale. Going into that last week, the last 2 weeks, you wondered, were the Padres going to have to face the Diamondbacks at the end of the year in a 3-game playoff before the playoff? Were they going to be able to build the momentum to clinch it before that? Could they possibly catch the Dodgers? Well, when the Padres swept the Giants, took 2 out of 3 from Houston, and swept Chicago, they rolled into Dodger Stadium 3 down with 3 games to go against LA. A record of 90-66. And they put Michael King on the mound on Tuesday, September 24th against the Dodgers. You might remember that this game started poorly for the Padres as an error by Xander Bogaerts in the first inning was an Ohtani double, and then an error by Bogaerts allowed Ohtani to come around to score, made it 1-0 right away. And you're like, oh my God, are we going to do this? Is this what it's going to be? Is this what it's going to happen? But Mookie Betts was caught stealing in that inning of third and was able to get out of the frame. In the top of the second, San Diego answered back with 1 out. Jackson Merrill singled with 2 outs. Jake Cronenworth, yard shot.
1-1 pitch into the air down the right field line. Hooking towards the little wall. This one gonna go! Jake Cronenworth, a 2-run homer. And the Padres, a 2-1 lead.
2-1 San Diego. Michael King pitches around a bases-loaded jam in the bottom of the inning, striking out Mookie Betts with the sacks drunk to keep it 2-1. Gets a double play from Max Muncy in the third to keep it 2-1, and then hits by Bogaerts and Cronenworth in the fourth, build a 4-1 lead for San Diego. That 4-1 lead holds. Tanner Scott pitches the seventh. Jason Adam pitches the eighth. And in the ninth, Robert Suarez is protecting a 4-1 lead. But
there's trouble.
remember, at the end of the year, Robert Suarez really struggled. And like going through these games, you almost kind of forgot how, like almost every one of these games involved Suarez wobbling at some point, giving up tying home runs, giving up go-ahead grand slams.
That was a ship in the Bering Strait.
He was. And this inning began with a Will Smith single and a Tommy Edmonds single.
They were threatening.
And a Kike Hernandez RBI single. And it was first and second, nobody out. Miggy Rojas, the 9 batter at the plate, and Ohtani on deck. What happened?
0-1. Swinging away, ground ball to Machado. He hits third, that's one. Goes to second in time, on to first, a triple play! A triple play! And the ball game is over!
There
a
it
triple
is.
play.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't believe
It
that
was
happened
really
still.
unbelievable. It was
like, oh,
amazing.
boy.
That was the best of Padres.
Hey.
Sports Fix next. It's 12 o'clock. It's a Friday. It's Christmas next week.
Everybody's basically stopped working now anyway.
Come on. Even if you're at work, I mean, I say this almost every Friday, but it's the most true today.
Yes.
Even if you're at work, you're not working now. So go ahead, let go of the rope. Drop it by your ankles. And join us for Annie and Elsten, the final 2 hours of your midday hang for 2024. Annie Halbern, Craig Elsten, and Braden Soprenet in our Odyssey studios overlooking Murphy Canyon, ready for the 12 o'clock sports fix for the final time this year. All the news that's fit to speak from the world of sports, local to national to regional. And did you find anything in baseball, Annie?
I have a few baseball stories. None of them
Nice.
concern the Padres.
Well, that's normal now.
Although I did see
Anybody's
yesterday,
surprised?
I didn't write this down for the sports fix, but I did see that Jerkson Profar is looking for a 3-year deal, 3 years or longer.
Okay.
At least that was like reports coming out of somewhere or other. So we'll follow that. We'll see what's going on. But let's start with Houston, where a new look Astros club will have a new first baseman in 2025 as the team has reportedly agreed to terms on a 3-year, $60 million contract with free agent Christian Walker. The deal is still pending a physical. Yes, 3 years, $60 million.
That's a pretty good deal.
Walker will be 34 in March. He has been a target of the Astros for some time now, dating back to the trade deadline when he was reportedly at the top of their wish list. I think he hit like 250 something, 250 average this last year. But yeah, pretty good deal for him for sure. The Blue Jays are taking trade calls on infielder Bo Bichette, while Ken Rosenthal cautions that Toronto is not actively shopping their shortstop. He reports that the Jays are willing to deal Bichette if another club meets a lofty asking price.
It's Friday, guys.
That's right. Okay, so
It's the last Friday, guys.
continue on. Showed in the chat said it was Jeff Passan who mentioned Profar's contract request. So yeah, we'll see if that comes to fruition.
Can I just
Yes,
tuck
yes.
one little thing in here? The Astros will pay $39.5 million for their first baseman this year, $20 for Christian Walker, and $19.5 for Jose Abreu not to
right.
play.
Oh my God.
This is the third year of the Abreu deal, and in the third year, they sign another aging first baseman to another 3-year deal. Let's see if this one works out better, because Abreu showed up when he was 36, and I guess Walker's 35?
34. He'll be 34. in
34,
March.
so hopefully he's got a couple good years left in him.
The Abreu contract just did not work out.
Straight
Yeah.
down. Sorry to interrupt.
That's a lot of money at first base.
That's what I'm saying. You got $40 million worth of first baseman, and one of them doesn't play.
All right, the Red Sox and lefty Patrick Sandoval are in agreement on a 2-year deal worth a guaranteed $18.25 million, reports Jeff Passan. Sandoval was non-tendered by the Angels last month. He is currently recovering from Tommy John surgery, which was performed in June. He'll miss at least the first half of the 2025 season, if not a bit more, but he could be a late season option in Boston and should be a member of their 2026 rotation. Sandoval will earn $5.5 million in 2025 and $12.75 million in 2026. Reports add that the Sox are still open to additional rotation acquisitions. That's a big contract for him, too, coming off of Tommy John.
Yeah. Well, we can't afford any pitchers anymore. If Mike Soroka gets $9 million,
Yeah.
just stuck on that. Sorry.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Well, Braden is waiting with football.
A lot of football news out there. Like last night, had an interesting play last night that we practice at Cathedral every once in a while. Anybody notice the free kick yesterday?
Yes.
Cameron Dicker made the
Yes.
longest fair catch free kick in NFL history at the end of the second quarter of the LA Chargers 34-27 win over the Denver Broncos on Thursday night. Dicker made a 57-yarder on a seldom used play, which allows the team that has just made a fair catch to attempt a field goal without the opponent trying to block it. The kick shortened the Broncos' lead to 21-13 at half and proved to be a spark for the Chargers, who outscored Denver 21-6 over the next 2 quarters. The longest previous fair catch free kick was a 52-yarder by Paul Hornung of the Green Bay Packers in 1962.
Wow.
Chargers looked as if they would go into halftime down 11 points after quarterback Justin Herbert was intercepted by cornerback Chris Adams-Drain late in the first half, but a quick 3-and-out by the Broncos offense and a fair catch interference penalty on Denver gave LA an untimed down at the end of the half. Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh chose to take a fair catch free kick, which by rule is attempted from where a fair catch was called or has been awarded as a result of a penalty. Typically, teams signal for fair catches well out of field goal range, so the strategy is not a commonplace. Dicker lauded special teams coordinator Ryan Ficken post-game, telling reporters that he prepares the team weekly for such a scenario. Dicker said he didn't know the rule until he met Ficken in 2022.
Wow.
I've known this rule for a long time now. If you,
know what's
call
wild,
for a
though?
fair catch,
Right.
you can elect to basically kick off.
But you haven't seen it in like 30 years. That's crazy.
Here's the thing, though.
It's a very interesting scenario. It's a very specific scenario where you would do it.
Right. But,
Yeah.
like, how many times each week now do you see the kickoff go through the uprights?
Right, a
Like,
lot.
Yeah.
guys do it all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like you could fair catch the ball at the 35-yard
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
And with the kicker running up into it, that you could kick a 75-yard free kick.
Unblocked kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ask my kickers every year, kicking off a kickoff tee with a full approach, how far can you kick a field goal? And they look at me like I'm nuts. And I'm like, no, there's a rule for it. I just want to know, what is your range if you can do that? So if before the half, if we call a fair catch instead of like trying to throw a Hail Mary, we
Yeah.
get 3 points. It's a very specific scenario.
It has to It has to be the right timing for it, which it was last
It's like
night.
before halftime.
Right, but right before, and like you said, where your other option is essentially like a Hail Mary kind of play.
Right, like if it's any other time, like you have plenty of time to score. If you
Right.
call a fair catch and you're at the 50,
You wanna try and
you're
take it
going to try to
down.
score a
Yeah.
touchdown. You're not going to just elect to kick a free kick because the risk reward's not there. If you miss,
Yeah.
they get the ball, like a kickoff. That's why they set up their return team
Yeah.
back there. So. Very unique situation. It's happened a couple of times in the National Football League. Not a lot of guys make the kick, but last night, 57-yard field goal on the board for the Chargers. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Special teams play.
Hey, you
Yeah,
don't
that was
always
cool.
get some love on special teams. So yeah,
That's right.
I saw mostly the first half where the Broncos looked like they were, holding on.
I love that
Yeah.
rule, and the other rule I love is
And they didn't.
if the ball touches the punting team first, I could pick it up and return it anywhere I want with no risk.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just elect to take it where it was touched by the dude. That's why you see all these returners like hang around the ball when it
Right.
starts like bouncing around, because if it touches any of those punt coverage teams, you could pick it up, run it all the way down to the one, fumble the ball, and you're like, we'll take the ball where it was first touched. It's great.
That's a good rule.
Know
well,
the rules.
You know
Although,
them, right?
Yeah, sometimes the refs don't, which is frustrating. Games tomorrow. Texans at the Chiefs at 10 o'clock in the morning on NBC and Peacock. Steelers at the Ravens at 1:30 on Fox. Those are your NFL news and notes for you. We do have some college football games going on today and into tomorrow, obviously, and obviously throughout the 2 weeks that we are off. Games today, Ohio is leading Jacksonville State 30-14 in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. That's going on right now. They're in the fourth quarter. Later on this afternoon, we will have the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl,
Can't wait for the winning coach to be
Wow.
doused in Gasparilla.
which is different than Sarsaparilla.
What
right?
is Gasparilla?
I don't even think it's a thing. I don't know what it is.
No, like
I thought about sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla is
Get me a
like-
sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla is like a
Like
yeah. I
sarsaparilla
think
root beer or
Gasparilla is a
something?
different
I don't
type
know.
for more like pirates. Those are your end zones. They're treasure maps.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that super cool?
I think
That
that's
is pretty
cool.
cool.
So
Where's
the
Captain Jack Sparrow?
The Gasparilla Bowl, which is being played in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. So not
Okay.
only is there a treasure map in the end zones, but you have a pirate ship.
There's a
in the
pirate
stadium.
ship, too. If a receiver catches a ball on the X, is the game automatically over and they won?
That's
It
what I was
should be.
wondering. Or just something like, does the hole open up at the X and swallow you
Maybe he
into
gets
the ground?
Maybe he gets treasure.
Right, exactly. Maybe that's what it is.
It'd be better if like East Carolina was in this game, but Tulane Green Wave and the Florida Gators are in the Gasparilla Bowl.
You
with the
should
treasure
get you
map.
should get double the points if you
catch
catch
on
a
the X.
touchdown.
X marks the
right
spot.
on the X.
How many? I guarantee you they're going to try to do that tonight. You're playing in a bowl game.
Yeah.
Let's just try to run a route. Let's try to catch it on the X. And I can't. You know the broadcasters are like
Oh, they'd go nuts.
banking some stuff right now in that game.
Yeah, getting their
But-
liners ready.
That's a beautiful end zone.
Oh, I agree.
That's awesome. And then the night game tonight, college football playoff game 1 of this weekend. Indiana at Notre Dame. We already saw the tailgate scene in South Bend, Indiana. Spread has moved to 7-point favorites for Notre Dame today. Tickets as low as $500 if you want to get in.
Hey, all right.
5 o'clock on ABC. Playoff games tomorrow in the college football playoff. We already talked about them. We picked them earlier in the show. 9 in the morning on TNT, SMU at Penn State. 1 o'clock game is Clemson at Texas, also on TNT. And the nightcap is Tennessee at Ohio State. That game will be at 5 o'clock on ABC. Go Vols.
Go
And that's
Vols.
it for your college football and NFL storylines this weekend. 5 football games tomorrow, all going to be good ones in the NFL and college football. That's it for me for 2024. Here's Craig.
Thank you so much. Time for the MLS Super Draft update. I've got the info for you. San Diego FC, as an expansion team, had the first pick in the MLS Super Draft. This is a college draft. This is drafting college players. Mm-hmm. The history of this that I've learned recently is that most of these players are not going to be regulars on the big club. This is less akin to an NFL draft where the first rounders are all going to start and be stars, to almost an NHL draft where some of them will get to the NHL right away, but others will be loaned out, meaning going to the AHL in hockey, but loaned out maybe to USL, championship. Maybe they're on the team. Maybe they're reserves on the team. So just that's kind of the expectation level. Yeah. Generally, we'll ask Coach Varas about it next hour. But they did have the number 1 pick, so they got the guy they like the best, and that is UC Santa Barbara midfielder Manu Dua. Manu Dua, D-U-A-H.
Gauchos?
He is a gaucho.
He's a gaucho. Then, you might remember back when they had the expansion draft that SDFC made a bunch of trades, and they made a trade with Toronto, and they got the 9th pick. So they had the 1st and the 9th pick today. They then traded the 9th pick to a team for the 17th pick and $100,000. Then they traded the 17th pick to another team for the 24th pick and $75,000. So they picked up $175,000 in general allocation money. And with the 24th pick, they just selected defender Ian Pilcher from University of North Carolina, Charlotte.
All right.
So our 2 players are UCSB's Manu Dua and UNC Charlotte's Ian Pilcher. And we will talk to head coach Mikey Varas at 1 o'clock and find out
more about them.
More. Tell us more. Plus, they've made other moves. We can talk to him about Anibal Godoy, all sorts of things going on with San Diego FC. San Diego Sockers, staying on the soccer tip, going from the outdoor to the indoor game. They will host the Tacoma Stars tonight at Front Wave Arena. That is a 7:35 p.m. start. A clear plastic bag giveaway at Front Wave Arena. If you can't make it up to North County Oceanside, CBS Sports Galazo Network will have full coverage with myself and Tony Sanchez on the call. Look forward to virtually seeing you there at 7:35. San Diego Gulls in Colorado tonight, taking on the Eagles at 6:05 p.m. on AHL TV. SD is 0-2 on their holiday road trip so far. San Diego Seals tomorrow night in action at Pechanga Arena as they play host to the Georgia Swarm. They'll face that one off, and Baptiste will probably win the face-off just after 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, yesterday there were 13 games on the NBA scoreboard. Far too many to recount. However, we can tell you that it was a good night for the Southern California teams as the Clippers beat the Mavericks 118-95, and the Lakers got past Sacramento 113-100. Tonight, a lot less active scoreboard with 3 games, but one really good game. The NBA Cup champion Milwaukee Bucks will look to avoid that hangover that the Lakers had last year. Lakers went 3-10 after they won the NBA Cup.
Yeah,
so
didn't work out well.
Yeah, Buccos are going to try and do a little bit better. Milwaukee Bucks at the best record in the league, 23-4 Cleveland. That game is tonight at 4:30. OKC plays Miami, and Charlotte takes on Philadelphia. That is the story in the NBA. Switching over to the National Hockey League, San Jose blew a 2-0 lead to lose to Colorado 4-2. The Sharks became the first team in the history of the NHL, which goes back a very, very long time.
Yeah, it does.
They became the first team in the history of the NHL to lose 3 consecutive home games, all in regulation, all leading in the third period. Ouch.
That's actually kind of crazy.
Ouch,
that
man.
hasn't happened before.
Yeah, you would have thought that would have happened before, right?
Yeah, that didn't seem like that out of the ordinary.
Well, it is.
Well, it sucks to be a Sharks fan.
Yeah, Sharks aren't good anyway. Kings beat the Flyers last night, 7-3. Good on them. The Ducks did not play, so no one could rattle that little drum. But the Ducks will host the Colorado Avalanche later tonight at Honda Center at 7 p.m. And that's my report, but we've got more from Braden.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. That's it. That's it.
USD's Donovan Parisian?
Parisian.
Parisian went to New England.
He was supposed to be a first-round pick, was he?
He was number 18.
Was that the keeper?
Yeah.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a shame that the San Diego FC didn't need a goalkeeper. They got a lot. For all you Ducks fans out there, for your Ducks viewing needs.
Final sports fix of the year.
Final sports fix of the year.
Wait, yeah, this. Let's do this.
Ducks fired up.
Where do you think they keep that duck when he's not doing this?
Hopefully not just holding him all the time. Hopefully let him be in water.
I think he's a pet duck.
What I truly love about that is you see the guy's hand.
I know, it's the best part.
Just like he's holding the duck, and the duck has no true affiliation with the drum. It's just flapping its little legs,
doing
trying
what
to get
ducks do.
away.
Right.
It's just trying to get away.
That's right.
But he winds up banging the drum. It's amazing.
Great. Good Ducks. Only the Anaheim Ducks, not the Oregon Ducks.
Only the Anaheim Ducks.
I upset some Oregon Ducks fans the other day.
Yeah?
Remember the Alamo Bowl.
When we come back, did you see that Nolan Arenado wants to be a Padre? Did you see that?
No.
Well, I think he just wants to be in Southern California.
He does want to be in Southern California, but
Who's
El Toro guy.
one of those MLB Network shows said that the only team he wants to go to first base for is San Diego. How would that possibly make sense? We're going to try and figure it out when we come back. Then it's our last silly game of the year. Anybody knows. Then it's Mikey Varas. Then it's Media Melanie. Then it's Ask Us Anything. And then boop.
See ya.
It's Quinn and Chris. 97.3 The Fan. Hey, did you know you can listen to 97.3 The Fan with your smart speaker? You can.
You could do that.
You can do that.
Oh, wow.
It's all good. Give it
Learn
a try.
something new every day.
Give it a try. Fire it away. Oops, hang on. There we go. Everyone's cameras are back right on YouTube, and we are back with Andy and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Final hour and a half or so of the show. Gwen and Chris check in from 2 to 6. Matt Scraby's lonely solo. No, he's not lonely. He's with the rest of Scraby Nation.
Scrabistan.
Scrabistan will be open borders for 1
boy.
hour only,
Oh,
6 to
no.
7.
He should just do holiday gripes.
That'd be hilarious.
Holiday gripes
Just
for an hour.
an hour of him bitching about the holidays.
Like, you know how when if you were in school today, the teacher would be rolling in that cart. They probably don't have that anymore, but
With
they'd
the
be
TV?
rolling in the cart with the TV, putting on the movie,
Christmas movie.
and
yeah,
that's kind of
watching
your day,
Elsten.
right?
Yeah.
That's Scraby should just do holiday gripes.
Yeah, unless you're in high school and you got to take a final today.
Yeah, that's true.
That sucks.
That-
Really?
it-
People are taking finals today?
Yes, if this is the last week, then you take finals during the last week.
Was James already out of school this week? Were most
He was
schools
out on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday we had that big Advent program,
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
Oh,
the
they've
end.
been
yeah, that's
off.
like the end of the.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been
whatever.
off yesterday and today.
I'm
So,
about to block this guy's number here.
yeah.
Someone just keeps calling.
They keep calling and then they don't say anything, and so I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Heavy
Spam.
breathing.
you're about to go.
Is that what it was?
It wasn't even that. It was just nothing.
Yeah. It's probably one of those.
Hey, Scream,
you know,
dude, you're 2 months too late, buddy.
Exactly.
That's an October joke.
Okay, let's knock this out real quick because I don't think there's a whole lot to it. Nolan Arenado has turned down a trade to Houston. He's got a full no trade clause. He's made extremely clear where he'd like to go, which is California. He'd like to either be an Angel or a Padre or a Dodger. He can't be a Giant. They just signed Matt Chapman again. They've got Adames. They're locked down there,
The Astros wanted him,
right?
and the Cardinals were prepared to eat a chunk of Arenado's contract.
Decent amount.
And he said no, not right now at least, because he wants that other
No.
team in the West Coast.
Well, now that they've signed Christian Walker, maybe they'd be more interested. Maybe Arenado's wandering eye will return to Houston and he'll wind up aiming for the Crawford boxes. But this week on MLB Network, Greg Amsinger, who of course is right about everything,
Wait, they actually had shows on MLB Network?
apparently this was like the 1 hour they had a show.
When did this air?
Yeah, this was like 1 hour. But they talked about Arenado blocking the trade. They went on to discuss Arenado's willingness to change positions. And Mr. Amsinger's position, his position is that Arenado would only change positions for one team.
I think that comment, I would be willing to move to first base, was pertaining to one team and one team only, the Padres. Manny Machado's a third baseman. He's the guy that's been, the face of the franchise for a while. I think he'd be willing to go to first base to join the San Diego Padres. He's a California guy, team that's ready to win right now. I think that was the only team that was the exception for him. I think.
Okay, I kind of see what he's saying there. He's saying that Manny Machado is an elite third baseman, so he understands that he wouldn't be able to play third base for the Padres. So, hey, I've got my guy over there who is a Gold Glover, excellent third baseman, really the best in baseball, or at least one of the best in baseball. So I'm going to slide on over here to first.
Can someone tell that to the people that vote on the Globe?
I know.
Glove? Can
I know
somebody
that-
tell
that's
them?
a bummer,
Can
yeah.
they watch that? Yeah, but,
But
I don't disagree with what he's saying.
I don't disagree either, but I guess I would push back, though, on if Nolan Arenado is desperate enough to get out of St. Louis, which it seems like he really wants out, bless you, Brandon,
bless you.
then I think if that's true and he'd only come to, he'd only switch positions for one team, like, dude's got to broaden his horizons there a little bit more because you are looking at, teams that aren't necessarily clamoring to get you, right, and take on that contract. And you probably got to be a little bit open and flexible, which I understand he's doing because he's saying that he, would be willing to switch positions. That's why I kind of question whether it's true that he'd only do it for the Padres. I feel like he's not really in a leverage position to
I feel like
do that.
isn't this mutual though? Don't the Cardinals want to get rid of it? Don't they want to get rid of him?
Both. It's both.
I think it's mutual, right?
They want to rid themselves of the payroll.
So they don't want to deal with him anymore,
And he wants
doesn't
to
want
go-
to be there anymore.
right.
But he's going to want to be in a place that he wants to be, and he's from El Toro, so
Yeah.
he's obviously going to want to play in Southern California,
And they're
probably
gonna
more
pay-
than not. And if
Yeah.
you want to be on the Padres at all, it doesn't make any sense unless you say you're willing to move to a different position, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to go to Houston, obviously. As we saw this week with Houston trying to trade for him and him putting the kibosh on that. So he's obviously looking for a place where he wants to live. On top of being on a competitive team, and I think I kind of agree with the sentiment. I don't think he's as desperate to get out of St. Louis as maybe the Cardinals are desperate to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think it's that could be true.
And I think that's why he threw out the Padres of like I'll move positions to make it be a fit.
He's in an advantageous position in that respect because he's got that full no trade clause. So if he doesn't like the team, he can just stay in St. Louis if that's not appetizing to him to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are going to have to eat some of that contract. I mean, he's getting 74 million over the next 3 years.
Yes.
They're going to have to eat some of that.
This is what I was just about to bring up, is that $32 million next year, of which $5 million the Rockies send the paycheck over, so that's 27. Then $22 million you owe the next year, and Colorado kicks in $5, and then $15 million in 2027 when he's 36. Nolan Arenado would be unless the Cardinals were paying all of his contract, like a rise, which they're not going to do. Okay, unless we give him Salas or something, which we're not going to do. Unless you're having them eat almost all the deal, this would be the biggest move of the offseason for the Padres financially. It would absolutely require another player to be traded because right now, we heard from A.J. Cassavell yesterday, there's basically no scenario where the Padres address all their needs without trading one of our 5 identifiable contracts that we've marked. So go from 1 to 2 if you're adding another $18 million or $16 million for Nolan Arenado.
And you're essentially, Luis Rise would be traded, right? I mean, there's
That's
no...
I'm saying
yeah,
Rise and Cease.
Yeah, exactly.
What if they cover half? That gets his AAV down to $15 million. And then you trade a Rise to somebody else.
Okay.
Because if you trade him to St. Louis, it doesn't make any sense for them because then they're still paying the $30 million.
Right.
Right? Just to 2 different players, and one's not going to be on their team.
Right.
But if you trade for Arenado, and throw in some you're not going to have to give up the top 2.
Right.
Right? And they pay half.
Yeah.
Right? Which is still, that's $15 million for them, $15 million for the Pods for AAV, and then you part ways with Luis Rise to somebody else.
Yeah. For young pitching.
You're basically exchanging a Rise for Arenado, and then you have to give up a prospect.
Yeah, and like $500,000. Yeah.
I honestly, that doesn't sound like that bad of an idea.
Okay, now we get to, though, what I think is the bigger crux of the matter. We may have just figured out how we could, but then the question is if we should. And what I see in Nolan Arenado is a player in his decline phase. He has had 2 consecutive years of a sub-800 OPS. He had his career low outside of his rookie season last year. He dropped in the past 4 years from 34 to 30 to 26 to 16 homers. His slugging percentage dipped below 400 for the first time his entire career. And he's got 3 more years at age 34, 35, 36. This could be a disaster if Arenado is essentially Bogarts 2.
Is he better than Bogarts or not?
I don't
Right now, is
know.
he better than Bogarts or not? Would you rather... You get to pick. You want Arenado or do you want Bogarts? You get to pick.
I think I want Bogarts.
All right, so you think he's worse, but he'd be making $10 million less than Bogarts.
He would.
Who on the market right now?
You need to do this deal.
Who on the market right now is making $15 million? That's a position player.
When the market's making 50, well, if Walker just made 20, I mean.
So now you're probably playing a little bit over, right? Than what it is. It's obviously I think a lot of people here would probably rather have a Rise than Arenado.
Yeah.
Or would you rather have Arenado with a little bit more power, even though he's not hitting as well as a Rise?
I think I'd rather have a Rise. I think he's a better fit for our team. He's much younger.
Yeah.
He's still right in the heart of his career. I want to say something we said a couple days ago on Best of Padres again. He played 4 months with a torn ligament in his thumb.
Yeah.
Before he tore his ligament, he was hitting .396. At the moment he tore his thumb, he was threatening 400. I could easily see him threaten 400 again this year, especially a walk year. Like, I could see him do that way more than I could see Nolan Arenado, comeback player of the year, hitting 40 homers for the Padres as their first baseman.
Yeah, Luis Arraez is a tone setter. He is someone that literally you heard guys in the clubhouse talk about how things changed when he got to San Diego and he got into the lineup. And exactly that, like he won the batting title last year and he had a heck of a year and he wasn't even fully healthy. I mean, he apologized for his numbers, which were still very, very good because they aren't what he would expect from himself with that torn ligament, which was really, really painful for him throughout the year. So if he comes back to the Padres, so excited to see what a full, healthy year, hopefully for him, could be for this lineup. I think that it works in this Padres lineup. Nolan Arenado is a great player. I don't think the Padres need him. And I agree. I don't know exactly what the future is for him.
Well, you don't know what the future is for him, but you would have him for 3 years. You don't have a future with Arise after this year.
Yeah, unless you extend him.
Unless you extend him. So,
right.
So you're
you
betting
would rather
on Nolan being better in
But here's the
2
deal,
years.
guys. You have to do that when you can't spend money. You have to take major risks in order to try to improve your ball club unless you want a bunch of young guys that haven't done it before to go up there. I think a safer bet would be Arenado giving you some type of production than relying on trying to catch lightning in a bottle with the Solano or Peralta type like you did with Nelson Cruz, like you did with Matt Carpenter, right? Taking a chance on a young player coming up, which, Jackson Merrill's a lot easier of a chance because he's a top prospect in your system. You would be taking some chances on some guys that are not current top prospects in your system, right? Like some of the guys that you got rid of in order to acquire Arise. So when you can't spend money and you can't go find problems with free agency and you got to get creative with things up your sleeve, taking on an Arenado for half his cost as he starts to decline and hoping he doesn't fully decline, that's the level of risk you kind of have to take if you want to try to make your team competitive and be able to stay underneath where you need to when it comes to money. This is one of those moves that would kind of help you, kind of solidify some things, but there is risk. And at this point, there's not going to be a single move the Padres make that doesn't involve some type of kind of major risk.
I don't disagree with that for sure.
Yeah.
I look at when we signed Bogarts and looked at his career, and right away you went, hang on, wait, is the trend line right for this guy? Is he on the way up, or are we catching him at the start of the way down? And then, we know about the injuries, we know about what's happened, but so far through 2 years, you're not thrilled with the direction that's going. Arenado's had back-to-back down years, and he is on the wrong side of 30, and that's where I get nervous, because I think about Ryan Ludwig. I think about so many guys that you pick up at this stage of their career, and then just there comes that moment for everyone, and there comes that moment for all people. But in baseball, there comes that moment where you don't quite have it anymore. Goldschmidt, 3 years ago, an MVP. Now, where's he going to go? So, but Braden, you're 100% right.
It's how much risk
reward.
You're going to have to make
price.
risky moves, right? So it's what risky move you're thinking of, and one of them would be getting a veteran.
Sometimes a change of scenery can do you good.
Dude's from here, right? He's from Southern California. He wants to be part of this team. I mean, the Cardinals have not been, they've been kind of miserable the last couple of years, right? They had really no direction, and who knows how he gelled over there. And, it could be a new lease on life, right? I mean, it's a different opportunity for him, and maybe playing closer to home and, getting up there in age, and he can focus on different things. I mean, you just don't know. And to me, I would rather take a chance on a vet. But again, I don't want to pay him. I don't want it to count $30 million towards the AAV.
You can't.
But if it's 15 and they pay for half, I'm a little bit more interested in potentially making that happen. But these are the risks you have to take.
Are you interested in that over getting like a pitcher for the 15 or 18 million that it's going to cost? You know
looking
what I mean?
at the pitchers that are going for 18 million, I don't want Patrick Sandoval. To answer your question, no, I don't think spending 18 million on Patrick Sandoval is really worth it.
That's what makes this hard, in my opinion, because.
Would you rather have Nolan Arenado for $15 million or Patrick Sandoval for $18 million?
I agree with you. It
I'd
just
rather
makes
have
me
Nolan
wonder
Arenado
how
for
are they going to
$15.
get then some of these, and I guess they're going to obviously have to do it through trades or through.
Well, there's your risk, right? We have 6 or 7 arms.
Right.
Yeah.
Your risk is you need Johnny Brito to do well, and
you need to bring some guys through
Vasquez to do well, and
development, or
Waldron
some
needs to do
flyers.
well again, and hopefully Hoeing could be a starting pitcher. That you have your pitchers,
Right.
right? That's the risk with the pitching side, because you can't afford to go improve your pitching staff.
Well, I'll button it like this as we get ready for our final silly game. To me, the way this works, and it's probably the only way this works, is in my personal opinion, is in a very, very patient direction. The way this works is for the Arenado trade market to really be bad, for other teams to not be interested.
That's what I think would have to happen too.
Yeah.
Because also with Luis Ariz, I mean, he's only with you for one more year, but essentially, how much would he cost when he hits free agency? I guess if he has a super great year, but it's so hard to know how people value him. Would you be paying $16 million for him a year for a long-term contract if you wanted to stay in San Diego?
Yeah, Ariz, yeah.
I mean, at the going rate right now, he probably will be making that. Probably a little bit more, even though
So
he's not as valued as everybody else, right? As they say.
But you could sign him instead of signing Arenado for $15 million a year.
You could sign him.
It's opportunity cost because you're not going to do both.
Right.
No,
you're definitely not doing both.
Yeah.
And you don't know. I mean, if Arenado is a bird in the hand this offseason versus you don't really know what's going to happen with Luis Ariz, I could see where that is tempting.
I think with the track record that Arenado has had is a lot better than some of the fears that we may or may not have about aging veterans that were never really up to Arenado's par when they were at their peak anyway.
Fair. Well, he is
he's a future
six-time platinum glover,
letting go
10-time
of
gold
Luis
glover.
Ariz.
Yeah.
But no, he is. He's a great player. And maybe a change of scenery and some new, pieces around him and seeing
For a
the
player
Pacific
like him
Ocean every
to
day
just
instead of the arches.
Fall off a cliff would be it'd be amazing, honestly. For a player at his level to just fall off the face of the earth would be insane.
Let's take the time out because up next, final silly game of 2024. Last chance for you to qualify for the Annie and Elsten slot. A 2-night stay at Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. 2 tickets to Hoop Central at the Westgate Superbook. Each one of our shows has one of these grand prizes to give away. You can be the last person to qualify for our end of the month grand prize drawing. All you have to do is defeat Annie Heilbrunn in the game of Anybody Knows.
Don't be scared.
The game of easy trivia. But we have to open up the phone lines. Yeah, we did it. 833-288-0973 is our phone number. 833-288-0973. Give us a call right now. Braden will pick a contestant in the break, and we will come back to play Anybody Knows. I just looked over and saw it. We'll come over to play Anybody Knows after this on The Fan. 1246 on the Fan. It is great to have you with us. Annie and Elsten program. Love to play silly games. It's one of the favorite things about being on the radio is the chance to play silly games, have some fun, bring back some classic game show type moments, and, have a little competition, a little chance to get away from the show part of the show each day and give someone a chance to win a prize. Let's read the liner. The Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations, home of legendary Vegas fun. Experience the madness of March as only Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino can serve it up to you with high-definition screens, luxury seating, table service, and access to all the best gaming action. For tickets, head to WestgateResorts.com. You get a 2-night stay at Westgate and tickets to the Westgate Superbook for Hoops Central in March. If you win, Anybody Knows, the game of ridiculously easy trivia, where you go head-to-head with Annie Halbron. Who shall our contestant be today, Braden?
Brad and Escondido.
Love it. Brad, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, man. Happy holidays to you all.
And happy holidays to you as well. Let everybody know a little bit about yourself before we play the game.
Pretty much native San Diegan, Padre fan since 1970, Charger fan till Rivers retired, and then I burned my jersey. So
Appreciate
life
you.
goes on.
Right. Just got to keep moving. Got to keep rolling. Well, you roll into this, and it is Anybody Knows. Here's how the game works, Brad. It's very simple. We bought a game at Barnes & Noble a few months ago. Braden's got the quiz card in his hand right now. 10 questions. Once he reads the first question, you'll have 60 seconds to answer as many as you can correctly. If you don't know one, you can say pass, and if we have time, we'll get back to it. The one hook to keep in mind, these are by design straightforward questions. So
There's even a gimme in there today.
Outstanding.
Gimme.
All right. Thanks, Braden.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so don't try not to trick yourself along the way, Brad. And if you tie or beat Annie, you will be our final qualifier of the month. Sound good?
Deal.
All right,
Good
best
deal.
of luck.
Let's go. Freebird.
I have the scoreboard on Keep and Score, and here we go.
All right, 1 minute on the clock after I ask you question number 1. If you're going to forgive and move forward, you're letting bygones be what?
Bygone.
That is correct. What part of speech is the word procrastination?
What part of speech? Pass.
Name the Major League Baseball team from San Diego.
Padres.
There's your gimme. Monarch is a common type of this flying insect.
Butterfly.
Butterfly is correct. A truck with a large blade attached to the front for clearing snow.
Snowplow.
Snowplow is correct. The meal at midday.
Lunch.
Lunch.
Yay.
A thick blended drink made from ice cream and milk.
Milkshake.
Milkshake. The deer and the antelope play near the home on this type of land.
Here and pass for right now.
Let the water pour over your whole body as you stand here to wash off.
Shower.
This person goes underground to bring up coal or gemstones.
Coal miner.
Miner is correct.
Back to question 2.
What part of speech is the word procrastination?
Hard disease. Procrastinate. Pass.
All right, back to question 8.
The deer and the antelope play near the home on this type of land. Home on the what?
The range.
Home on the range.
That is correct,
All
and
right.
that gets you to 9 out of 10,
We were looking for
Brad.
noun. Procrastination is a noun.
Oh, gee, I hated adverbs and nouns. Ugh.
I was actually struggling with that one too, Brad. I wouldn't have got better than 9
Yeah.
on this
I was an
particular one.
athlete.
But here comes Annie. Brad, stay on hold. That's a great score. I feel like you're in good shape, but we'll find out. All right, Annie, you're facing Brad today. Brad and Escondido.
There's a gimme in there for you. I would have said,
I hope I get it.
You will get it.
yeah,
You will get the gimme.
Okay.
If you miss the gimme,
just
It's
go
a
home.
sad day.
Just go home.
yeah.
You'd be fouled out.
If you miss the
immediately.
gimme, you will immediately take 6 fouls.
I feel like there's a lot of pressure.
There will be no pressure.
No
Okay.
pressure.
There will be no pressure. Trust me.
All right, question number 1. If you're going to forgive and move forward, you're letting bygones be what?
You're letting bygones be bygones.
That is correct. What part of speech is the word procrastination?
What part of speech?
Yeah, this is a hard one.
It is hard.
A noun?
Noun is correct.
It is a noun.
Name the Major League Baseball team from San Diego.
Oh my gosh. Who could it be? The San Diego Padres.
There we go. You
It'd be
did not
sad
foul
if
out.
I didn't get
Did
that.
not foul
It would
out.
be
Not
very
foul out.
sad.
You would have just walked right out.
I'd probably be fired.
It's the holidays. Michael's not listening.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Monarch is a common type of this flying insect.
A butterfly.
A butterfly. A truck with a large blade attached to the front of a truck with a large blade attached to the front for clearing snow.
A snowplow?
Yes.
That's right.
The meal at midday.
Lunch?
A thick blended drink made from ice cream and milk.
Milkshake?
The deer and the antelope play near the home on this type of land. Home of the what?
Where the deer and the antelope play.
Or Sunday roam on the home.
Home of the what?
Home of the plains?
Home on the
Incorrect.
range.
Home on the range. Home on the range.
Let the water pour over your whole body as you stand here to wash off.
Is that a Rihanna song? What?
No.
No, the umbrella actually not good to bring the umbrella in here.
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
water
Yeah, yeah.
wash
The water,
over your body?
You stand on you stand and the water pours
Oh,
over
a
you.
shower?
Yeah,
Shower.
a shower.
That sounded like a Bible
A
verse.
shower.
This
It
person
did.
goes underground to bring up coal or gemstones. He is a what?
A minor.
He is a minor, and by a score of 9-9,
Oh!
I think we need to do one bonus question.
Brad wins. Ties are a win for the caller.
Great job, Brad.
What beer is called the king of beers?
What beer is called the king of beers?
Yes.
High Life.
What'd you say, Brad?
Miller High Life.
No.
Okay.
That's the banquet beer.
I'm going to guess here. Budweiser.
No, Coors is the banquet beer. Budweiser is the king of
Budweiser
beers.
is the king of beers.
You're still
Yeah.
going to win.
You're still gonna
Brad,
Yeah, you
don't
still
worry.
win.
Even though you
Thanks,
lost.
Annie.
Yeah, you don't.
Appreciate
No
Even
worries,
though you
Brad.
just lost. That's terrible.
No worries, Brad. No worries, Brad. Well done, man. Congratulations. You're our last
Yes.
qualifier for
Thank
the year.
you. Woo!
Hope you have a
Been
great
announced
holiday
fan.
season, Brad.
Well done,
Thank you
dude.
very much. I will.
Stay on hold. Braden will get you information here during the break if we still need it.
He did better than our contestant yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, that was
There it is.
That
High Life is
also
the
was an
champagne
easier
of beers.
card than
That was a
We've
way
had-
easier card.
You're right.
the last few
That was one of our
times.
easiest
You know where
cards.
that
Yeah.
wouldn't be easy for anybody that's not in Southern California?
Yes.
Although, to be honest, I don't think I would have. You got it. Procrastination being a noun.
I don't know if
I got
was
stuck on that
I had to
one.
think about that one for a long time. I felt like it couldn't be a verb.
Procrastinating would be a verb.
Right. And then an adjective,
to-
it's not really
No,
describing.
procrastinate.
Right.
Procrastinate would be a verb.
Right. To procrastinate.
Yes.
But that one took me a second.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a 50-50 chance.
I thought it was one of those things that I've already forgotten from 8th grade. Like, because it's in the act of doing it, procrastination.
Yes.
Brad does not need to lay. Oh, we got his info. He's good.
Okay.
He can
Brad,
hang
you're
up
good,
now.
buddy. See ya. Okay. And we're good with our number 3.
Yeah, Coors is
of
the
Annie and
banquet.
Elston.
Coors is the banquet beer.
The banquet beer.
Coors Banquet.
That's right. And Miller High Life is the champagne.
Champagne of,
of
beers.
beers.
Budweiser would be the king of beers, I guess, allegedly. I don't think I've ever had a Budweiser. Ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
Even
ever?
I've had a Budweiser.
No.
Even a Bud Light?
I've had a Bud Light once or twice, but
Okay, you've
I
pretty
drink
much had it
mostly
then.
Coors Light.
What
Yeah.
about Miller? Isn't Miller one too?
That's a Pilsner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Okay, let's take a timeout. When we come back, the head coach of San Diego FC, Mikey Varas, to get us caught up on the Super Draft. Next. Welcome back, everybody. Final hour of the season. We're excited for it. Andy and Elsten, we're going to go strong. We're going to run right through the tape. We're going to play to the final whistle or pick your sports metaphor for completion. That is what we are about to do here. Rolling till 2 when Gwen and Chris check in. Andy Heilbrunn with Craig Elsten, Braden Soprenet alongside. We were thrilled to have inside our Odyssey Palace earlier this morning, folks from San Diego FC dropping off their new kit. I went ahead and made the costume change during the commercial break to fit the video even better. And now we welcome back to the program a guy who's had a very busy day. He was here earlier chatting up Ben and Woods. Then he's been taking part in the MLS Super Draft. And now he is back to talk about it with us. The head coach of San Diego FC, Mikey Varas, is joining us once again here on Annie and Elsten. Mikey, Craig, and Annie here. It was great to see you in person earlier this morning. And thanks so much for coming back on with the fans now.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Appreciate you having me on.
Of course. All right, let's dive right into this. The Super Draft, you had a couple of picks. You had 2 picks in the top 10. You traded down a couple of times. But before we get into the individual players, Coach, what should MLS fans, new MLS fans in San Diego, know about this phase of team building, the Super Draft? Is it NFL, where guys are going to jump into the starting lineup and be your starting player? Is it more NHL, developmental, and it'll be a couple of years? How would you describe what your expectations are for the group you have just assembled?
I mean, first and foremost, I'd say we won't limit the story of any individual, and all the pathways will be unique. But the typical is that it'll take a bit of time for adapting from the college game to the MLS, right? The jump in level and the jump in training and the length of season is something that the players have to get used to. So it leans more to the developmental side, but we're picking on talent and character, ultimately hoping to pick players that will help our team win games at some point.
Mikey, we'll hit the top picks here in a second, but can we start with pick number 56, who is a local kid, Rancho Bernardo, also played at USD, Sammy Kanan. What did you see in him? And is it cool to kind of, when you're an inaugural club in the city of San Diego, to take a local kid?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think I feel like so redundant, but we mean it when we say we want to be a reflection of the community. So we're always looking within the community too, right? How better to be a reflection of the community than to have people from the community inside our organization. We have staff members and players. It's really, really great. But what we saw from Sammy is a really technical player, really smart player. He's a young player too, so there's some flexibility there in terms of what his developmental pathway can be. You know, it's not about worrying about being an immediate impact. It's about creating a plan that's going to help him when he's ready for the first team be able to impact.
And Coach, as you know, a lot of times we ask some kind of broad questions because we're creating a new fan base here in San Diego for Major League Soccer. So let me ask again a broad question, and then I'm sure Annie will ask about the number 1 pick. But the loan system, whereas you have players that you control, but you have the ability to loan them to a league such as USL Championship, is that a tool in your tool bag for the development of these players?
Yeah, that's one option, right? Another option for a young player is to potentially bring them into preseason, bring them into the summer, but have them return to school to play for their spring and fall season, right? Both of these offer different pros and cons. One of the pros of players going back to college is like we get to have them in our environment during certain points of the season, yet they're guaranteed to be starters and important players for game time moments, you know. And then at the USL level, you get the opportunity for them to play at maybe a consistently higher level and compete. But then again, you lose a little bit of control over their developmental pathway, right? Because they go to another club.
Yeah, as Craig mentioned, let's get to the first overall pick. You went with the Gaucho, UCSB's Manu Dua. What stood out about him? Why was he a target on your radar?
Yeah, Manu is a number 6, so defending midfielder profile. He's young. He's athletic. He's technical. He was already a standout player at the collegiate level, yet it's clear that his ceiling is much higher than where he's at right now. So he's still going to develop from a game IQ and technical perspective, which he's already at a good level. And then we're going to be able to help him develop physically. So overall, right, I think Manu is a perfect example of really talented kid, great character, but the ceiling is high, which really excites us because we want to see him grow, and we believe that he can be a really big impact player at the MLS level once we get him fully ready.
Your sporting director, Tyler Heaps, has been a busy guy. Lots of trades during the expansion draft, and you traded down twice in the first round today. You had the 9th pick, which was part of a deal from the expansion draft from Toronto. You moved down to the 17th and got $100,000. You moved down to 24th, got another $75,000. Picked up Ian Pilcher out of UNC Charlotte. But what was the thought process from the club in terms of trading down and picking up that general allocation money?
Yeah, it's all depending on who's on the board, right? And so I think this is a great example of how clever our sporting leadership was at the expansion draft, because we got general allocation money in addition to that 9th pick. And then we had 2 names on the board. And when the first name was selected before the 9th pick, you know, we gambled and said, okay, we think we can get our second name, but we don't need to use it at the 9th. And we traded down twice, received another $175,000 in GAM, and got the player that we wanted. So it was a big win from our sporting leadership.
I love that. Hey, we always talk about that in the NFL draft, right? They moved down twice and they still got their guy, you know? So that's awesome. And, you know, again, we welcome to San Diego Ian Pilcher, Harrison Bertos, Sammy Kanan, Donovan Sessoms, all the guys that you picked up in the super draft. We'll see how it shakes out. Incredible stuff for these young guys to start their pro path. But I want to ask you about the player that you picked up a day ago, because I feel like for SDFC fans, he's going to be way more in their eye, and that is Anibal Godoy, captain of Panama, 2018 World Cup. He has been, I believe, a 10 or 11-year MLS veteran, and I've got to think he's a player you're going to be leaning on as one of your veterans come 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it perfectly. And, you know, he speaks Spanish. He speaks English perfectly. He's been a part of an expansion process, so he was part of the Nashville expansion season. He's a proven winner. He's a tremendous character, obviously a great talent, and he's going to definitely be, you know, we need to balance this youth development model by surrounding them with veterans who have great experience and great leadership capabilities, so that development process goes hand in hand.
Well, the schedule came out this week, and I'm sure that was yet another milestone in all of this being more exciting and feeling much more real. Anything stand out to you about the schedule? Anything that you noticed when you first took a look at who you guys are playing and what those dates look like for 2025?
Yeah, the schedule, as is the MLS, is a challenging one, and it's a challenging one right off the bat, and we're really excited about that because there's no better way to start your history than to be playing up against the best. You know, we start off away to MLS Cup champions, right? Pretty incredible opportunity to go down there and show who we are right off the bat. Then we play a high-press team like St. Louis at home. Then we're immediately into an altitude game against a very, very talented playoff team in Salt Lake. And then we're playing last year's champs at home. You know, you start the season off against the top, and we don't shy away from that. We actually get excited about it. It's an opportunity to really be motivated to, you know, squeeze every second of preseason to be productive and to show that we can be competitive right off the bat and put that pressure on ourselves and really thrive within that pressure.
Coach Mikey Varas of San Diego FC joining us. Coach, one more thing, and we will let you get back and release you from your media obligation here. But we were chatting about it a little bit earlier in person, the importance of supporter culture and of the supporters of San Diego backing this brand new team. I know today is the final day for folks to get $18 tickets, season tickets in the supporters section on the north side there at Snapdragon Stadium. The Independent Supporters Union is all together, from locals to chavos and on that down the line, Riptides and so on and so forth. How important in your mind is the creation of this supporter culture to the success of San Diego FC?
Yeah, well, first off, Craig, Annie, this is not an obligation to me. This is an absolute privilege to be invited onto your show and speak to the people of San Diego. And this is my job. This is what I wake up every day and get excited for, to help the community understand how important they are to us and how hard we're going to work for them. And then you said it perfectly. Listen, games are won and lost, and most people think about the game as, the 22 players on the field, plus the bench players, plus the coaches, plus the referee. But the game involves the fans. It's a game that's for the people and by the people, and our supporters are going to help us win games. I've spoken and spent time with all of them. They're passionate people. They love their city. They absolutely love their city, and I think that's a common thread across all of the county of San Diego. This is a community that is proud to be here and proud of their people and proud of their unique vibe. And so ultimately, we're all in this together. Through the good and through the bad, we're all in this together. Everybody's adding up to help win. And the goal one day is to lift the trophy together. And when we lift that trophy, that's not just the players lifting the trophy. That's not just staff lifting a trophy. That's all of San Diego lifting a trophy. And that's ultimately our dream. And I think the club going and doing $18 season tickets for supporter groups, what a gesture, what a way to, one, recognize the fact that there's 18 cities within the county and how important every single one of those cities and every single person within those cities is, but also to make it affordable for that group, because we want all of San Diego represented when we take the field.
Coach, love it, man. Always get inspired hearing you. Have a wonderful holiday and Christmas season. Yes. All the best to your family. And when 2025 rolls around and we're back on first week of January and going forward, look forward to our next time when we get the chance to catch up.
Yeah, appreciate you all so much. And thank you to everybody in San Diego. Have a great holiday.
You too.
And you as well. Head coach, San Diego FC, first ever head coach, Mikey Varas.
So fun to meet him today.
Yeah.
And put a face to the name. And we got to chat a little bit before our show started this morning. And just couldn't be nicer, couldn't be more genuine about the fact that they really want to do right by San Diego. And they understand the environment and how much sports has become to mean, especially with the Chargers leaving. And they really want to bring a good product to the field.
It's all coming together. And it's just wild because, we're about to take a couple of weeks and then we're going to be back. And now all of a sudden you're getting into January. I mean, this team is going to snap together. It's going to be wild. Mm-hmm. The number of veterans coming in. Who's the next designated player that they sign? Are they going to sign another DP before the start of the year? Are they going to wait to the summer window? Everyone's still dreaming about De Bruyne. I saw Tyler Heaps quoted in the newspaper a day ago saying, hang on, Kevin De Bruyne is the highest paid soccer player in the world.
Maybe pump your brakes.
Right now, yeah. He makes, I think, $28 million this year. Well, highest paid in EPL, because as we know in Saudi Arabia, our man Ronaldo is making $200 million this year. But point being...
Not even the Padres are signing him.
Not even the Padres are taking a look at Ronaldo. Only the Dodgers, but they asked him to defer until, No, okay, joke over. But it's really exciting to see how this all plays together. And then the next thing you know, they're in camp. The next thing you know, they're in preseason. And then February 23rd will be on us. And it'll just be just like that. We are into the season. Plenty of exciting stuff to come here on 97.3 The Fan, covering SDFC in 2025. Stay tuned for the new year. But when we come back, let's welcome in one more time in 2024, the great media Melanie. She has been all season long, all year long. She's been checking in for our Crossing Stream segment at 1:20 on Fridays to give you streaming television recommendations. Today we present, both she and I, our top 3 television shows of 2024. I saw Adam in the chat earlier saying, I need some hour dramas.
Ooh.
He said, I don't want to watch the half-hour shows. I need some hour dramas. Adam, all 3 of my picks are our dramas. So
You already got him covered, and who knows what media Melanie has.
and who knows what media Melanie has. So stay tuned. It's all coming your way right after this, followed by Ask Us Anything. Andy and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, and you better know that Buffalo Wild Wings is football. I still think it's a restaurant, but I read it every time nonetheless. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings and try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild smoky chipotle heat, or for a bit of a kick, check out the new Cajun sauce, a rich blend of spicy and tangy pepper sauce. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go. We go to the 97.3 The Fan hotline. It is time to welcome in one last time in 2024 the great media Melanie, who has joined us for our Crossing Stream segment in this particular day part all season long. Media Melanie, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. How you doing today?
Thank you, and right back at you. Happy holiday wishes. Doing well, trying to get these last-minute gifts and get some wrapping done this weekend. So, busy. Busy.
Not too busy to record a show. You did that on Wednesday with myself. It's available now on podcast on YouTube, Media Melanie on TV, where we went through our top 10 shows with a couple of honorable mentions, with a little bit of a forward preview look as well to 2025. We went through our top 10. Before we get to the top 3, which we'll reveal on the radio here, what was your overall thought, Melanie, on the state of TV 2024?
Well, there were so many strong contenders this year, all across the genres, from comedies to dramas to sci-fi picks. So I had a really difficult time actually narrowing down my list. There were some hard-hitting limited series that ended up getting picked up for more seasons. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of great shows coming back in 2025, from The White Lotus to Severance, Stranger Things. So lots of great TV on our screen, so much to watch, and hopefully we've helped everybody make some good streaming choices this year.
Yeah, I thought in 2024 that the glut that we had the past 3 to 4 years lessened somewhat. It was the natural reflection of the writer's strike a year prior. Those are always knock-on effects because the stories that would have been written a year ago would have been filmed this year and displayed, but instead, there was a little bit of a backlog. But I still thought a very strong top, especially to the streaming television experience, always so difficult to navigate. So right now, if you're looking for a couple of things for your winter break, allow us to regale you with our top 3 shows of 2024. Melanie, let's start it with your number 3.
All right, Craig. Well, this is one that we both had on our list. It was my number 3, your number 5, The Diplomat Season 2 on Netflix. Kate and Hal Weiler just stole the show this season with a strong story, a very, very strong cliffhanger at the end. And of course, we do know there is a season 3 coming. And as we talked about in the video, a new character entered the scene, and this is someone we were familiar with from The West Wing. And Kerry Russell just crushed it in this show. And I mean, we both loved it. Highly recommend this to anyone, especially Adam, who is apparently looking for an hour-long drama.
Absolutely. The Diplomat is fun. It's crackling. If you hear something like that and you go, oh, wait, it's going to be too dense or it's going to be too dark or something like that, it's actually quite a funny and lively show in many elements, but it is the opposite of like a Fast and the Furious, where everything's exploding and all of the dialogue is, get to the chopper, some version of that. This is a show that's built on its dialogue. It's built on incredible performances. Kerry Russell is absolutely amazing. And The Diplomat, even if you never watched season 1, going through those 2 seasons, that would be a super fun binge for the holidays. So check it out. My number 3 show for 2024 was my number 1 show when Melanie and I did this at the midway point of the year, and that is the limited series on Netflix called Ripley. And this, if you ever saw The Talented Mr. Ripley, which was the Matt Damon movie from the 1990s, this is a redo, which it in and of itself was of a 1955 novel. But it's an 8-episode limited series filmed in black and white, filmed on location in Italy by Steven Zayan, who did The Night Of. He's one of our best visual directors. This show is visually stunning. the black and white combined with the incredible Italian scenes, the seasides, the stairways of the old towns. It's just visually beautiful, and it is a show that is an absolute expert in creating meticulous tension, showing you what it would actually take to cover up a crime, showing you the ways things could go wrong. Reminded me of Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad in terms of that level of precision within explaining how someone's trying to get away with something. Andrew Scott plays the titular character, Tom Ripley. He is a con man. He goes to Italy to essentially befriend somebody and then take over that person's life and become that person. It's an incredibly insidious idea. It's delivered in a beautiful way, and I found Ripley to be absolutely captivating. I sailed through the 8 episodes, recommended it highly then, and still on reflection, Melanie, in December, it made the podium, top 3.
Yes, I agree. That was an honorable mention for me. It was a gorgeous show. Andrew Scott stole the show there, and really good choice, Craig, and highly recommend that one as well. My number 2 is Nobody Wants This on Netflix, another one that I highlighted here this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been gushing about this ever since I watched it because the on-screen chemistry between Adam Brody and Kristen Bell was just off the charts. There was a kiss that just, oh my goodness, it took my breath away. It is funny. The cast is exceptional. I binged through these 10 episodes extremely fast. I laughed. And good news, it's coming back for season 2. It's going to start filming soon. This is a great one to watch maybe with your spouse. It's giving rom-com vibes. And again, Kristen Bell and Adam Brody together are just a couple I think we all needed to see this year.
Great call, Media Melanie. That's one of the ones I'm still looking forward to putting on my queue for the holidays. I think it would be a great one to watch with the wife during the break when we've both got a little bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is a show that I feel a lot of people may have resisted watching because they felt like there was a barrier to entry. They felt like it was going to be a little bit too hard. And sometimes you just need a little bit of a push to get into a show that you're going to wind up absolutely loving. I'm here to give you that push to watch Shogun on Hulu, which is my number 2 show for 2024. This is a retelling of the James Clavell novel, which was originally a miniseries in 1970s on network TV. It's been completely retold, and it is the most stunning, ambitious, sweeping show on TV since Game of Thrones. If you loved take away the dragons, take away the mysticism. If you loved the idea of kind of a sweeping canvas of a show with multiple characters and multiple storylines and everything coming together, and then an incredible set piece, action and drama and romance and all of it, Shogun has all of it. But the difference, Melanie, between the 70s and the 2024 version is there's one, white English character that was kind of the centerpiece of the 70s Shogun. And that character is not put on the back burner, but is treated more of what he actually is in the novel, which is as an instigator, a wild card, so to speak. But what this show gives you is an incredible story of the clans of Japan back in ancient times vying for supremacy. And again, see, I'm saying all this stuff. You go, oh, wow, it's dense. It's got subtitles. And yes, it does. It has subtitles. Like 85% of this is in Japanese with subtitles. So you have to be on the couch, not on your phone, locked in on the show. But I am here to tell you it is worth it. The show is beautiful. Some of the best acting performances of the entire year. Anna Sawai is absolutely incredible. I see Jacob in the chat. Couldn't agree more as the translator who has her own tortured history. And the second to last episode reminded me of a Game of Thrones second to last episode in terms of just the excitement, the whoa, and you're just so locked in on it all the way. They're going to have a second season. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I can tell you that Shogun was incredible. It narrowly missed number 1 on my list, and it is number 2, Melanie.
All right, Craig. Well, that brings me to my number 1, which is Shrinking Season 2 on Apple TV+. Of course, this is the show with Jason Segel, Harrison Ford, Jessica Williams, who, by the way, Jessica Williams is just one of my favorites. This one is a comedy. It deals with 3 psychiatrists and their families and their friends and all of the antics. And it has lots of emotional highs, lots of emotional lows. It was a show I just looked forward to watching every single week. I laughed. I felt like I wanted to cry. And what solidified it for me in my top spot was the last episode this week was episode 11, and they gave us a full 12 this season, by the way, which is amazing for an Apple TV Plus show. But there was a moment between Jimmy and Paul, Jason Segel and Harrison Ford's character, that just spoke volumes. These two grown men embracing in this emotional moment where Jimmy is kind of unraveling. I don't want to spoil too much, but this show is just fantastic. It's a Bill Lawrence show, of course, from Scrubs and Bad Monkey, which was another show I enjoyed this year. But season 2, dare I say, I enjoyed even more than season 1. Cannot recommend this highly enough, and happy to feature it in my top spot of the year.
Incredible media, Melanie. Great call on your part as well. Now, here's my number one, and I'll take it even kind of a half step further and say, I think this is my number one show of the 2020s so far.
Wow.
I think it's my number one show of the last 5 years in terms of a show that is going to just grab you and hold you. And then as it goes from season 1 to 2 to what happened this fall, season 3, continues to grow, continues to improve, continues to add depth and excitement and take you to new places. And this is Industry. Industry on Max. I just can't recommend this show enough. Now, not for everyone. And be careful when you watch it sometimes, because this is a drug-fueled, sex-soaked romp. Okay? My elevator pitch is Euphoria meets Billions meets The Paper Chase. And this is following young people in London, fresh out of school, at a powerhouse multinational bank, a fictional bank, known as Pierpoint, but think of it as a Goldman Sachs. Okay, they're considered a rival to Pierpoint on the show. So it's one of those big, and in the first season of the show, you meet this freshman class, so to speak, these new hires at Pierpoint, half of whom are going to be fired at the end of the year. So you've got that tension, that tension of, big business, young people finding their way, partying their way through in many ways, trying to find themselves. But you've also got this layer of work, deception and double crossing and backbiting. You've got big finance moments, buy or sell, incredible, pulse pounding stuff. Amazing performances. Mahala Holland, I think, is one of the best young actresses working in Hollywood. And this year brought season 3 of Industry, and each season it's just gone up and up. I mean, season 1, Media Melanie, was like in my teens when I was doing the Crossing Streams rankings. Season 2 was in my top 5, and this is number 1. Season 3 often focuses on Kit Harington. Remember Game of Thrones, Jon Snow? Well, he's back playing a born on third base, thought he hit a triple, ultra wealthy tech bro trying to bring a new company's IPO out onto the market. He's delightfully incompetent and yet is able to survive because of his innate wealth and structural privileges. But he interacts with Yasmin, who's one of the key characters on Industry, in an incredible way. All I can say is if you haven't watched this show, season 1, episode 1, dive in. Succession is another show I compare this to in terms of the intrigue, the plot, the writing. It's just an absolutely incredible show. Industry, I can't recommend it enough. I know Annie will love this show when you get to it. I know you're going to love this show.
Maybe a holiday break show for me.
I think it could be one, and then you'll be like, oh, wow, and then she did what?
That one, and also Shrinking. I haven't watched season 2 of Shrinking, so I feel like those are 2 that are high on my list.
Oh, they're high on our lists too.
Exactly.
In fact, they're number 1.
One from each of your lists there.
On our list. All right, Media Melanie, for the rest of our lists, tell everyone how they can find the show.
Yes, you have got to go watch the full video at MediaMelanieTV.com. It's pinned right there at the top, and make sure you hit that subscribe button while you're there.
Appreciate you all year. Have a great Christmas. We'll talk to you first week of January.
Yes, happy holidays, Melanie.
Yes, thank you. You too, and I'll talk to you next year. Sounds good.
Hey.
There we go. There goes Media Melanie.
All right.
Very cool to have her on all year and being a consistent part of the show.
Yeah, and that was a really organic thing, right?
Yeah.
She started off listening like the first couple of weeks when I just threw recommendations out on Fridays. She was like, hey, I got one. And the next thing you know, we brought her on. Next thing you know, she was leading the segment.
Yeah. a great match, because it's right in her wheelhouse, and pretty cool that you did the crossover with her for the podcast. So wishing her and everyone who's been here, and I know we'll get to this in the next segment, all year long, just a great holiday season. I mean, I know we appreciate you being here with us for the whole year.
100%. Let's take our last break. We have tickets to give away.
Aztecs, Utah State, December 28th.
Man, this is a great game.
It is a great game.
Not this Saturday, but next Saturday at Viejas Arena. This is going to be a sold-out, gigantic Mountain West Conference game against Utah State, which was an undefeated team before UCSD came in and beat them.
That's right.
Let's see if San Diego State can do what my mighty Tritons have already done, and that is take down the Aggies. Be the number 5 caller right now, 833-288-0973, in honor of the Aztecs number 5, Magoon Guath, their center, their position number 5. 833-288-0973, be the 5th caller, and you will be going to Aztecs and Aggies. And then we'll come back, we'll reopen the lines for Ask Us Anything on the other side. So good luck to everybody. Back with the last segment of the year next on The Fan. He won our SDSU Utah State tickets. So if you're calling for that, you can stop calling because
you're not going to win.
You are not going to win if you're still calling. It's done.
You lost, big dog.
Sometimes you just got to break it to him.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's Jover. It's not. It's all done.
Try again in the new year.
However, if you don't want to call for the tickets, but you do just want to call the show and be on the air and say hi and ask us something, I can open up the phones again. Yeah. 833-288-0970.
I was just going to say, that bell is not making it to 2025.
It's not going to go to January 6th?
It's not.
No. Well, I mean, it might because nobody's going to clean
Can
this
we
stuff up.
replace it? What will we replace it with?
Braden's going to take it and hide it somewhere.
Maybe it'll be a casualty of Scrabistan.
Yeah.
But what do we replace it with? I mean, otherwise we can't open the phones.
You just... Right.
Scare people.
That is scary.
That does scare people. They're not expecting it, especially if they're listening on the app or something.
Right. Kind of comes at you hard.
I got one of my buddies texted me the other day when I did that. He's like, "What in the world was that?"
Yeah.
Did TCU just score?
The bell is a little more gentle.
It's you know. Yeah. Ouch. Why so aggressive, bro?
Froghorn.
You know.
Fired up.
Nonetheless, the lines are now open. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. You've got 7 minutes to call the show. We'll take 2 of those 7 to kind of just say goodbye because you never know. We get into the calls. Next thing you know, someone's talking. The bumper runs.
You're going to say, you just never know if we'll be back. Like
No. We're going to be back on January 6th.
Time to say goodbye.
No, we're going to be right back here on January 6th. We're only off for 2 weeks, not forever. We are back for year number 2 of the program coming up in 2 weeks. But this does end year number 1 of Annie and Elsten. And, January 4th, we got this thing started. And we've been, it's kind of a weird thing when you start a radio show. You would think if you were out there that maybe there were months of meetings and planning sessions and whiteboards and PowerPoint presentations and all. There wasn't any of that.
Yeah, that's not how we fly here.
There wasn't any of that. We just showed up and started doing the show. And then the next day we did another one, and the next day we did another one, and then over time, segments emerge. The 12 o'clock sports fix emerged, silly games, Media Melanie, Braden's football segment, all of the Padres deep dive hour, all these various elements just sort of organically grew. MLS 101, right? We start to meet our show friends, right? Who's going to be show friends? Bryce is a show friend. Scotty Miller is a show friend. Tony Sanchez, Philly Philemon, find these people who become Vince Goodwill, people who become part of the fabric of the show. Now Coach Varas, people who become part of the fabric of the community. All the way through. We are some little tiny piece of entertainment for your day. Some folks are there with us on YouTube for 4 hours. Some people are in their car for 5 minutes listening to the show. But however, you've made a choice each time to interact with our content. And, I've said it many times. I know Annie agrees, but we don't take this job for granted. We show up to do this job, but we understand that there are plenty of other people who could do it, who would do it, and we get to do it. And it's an incredible gig. It's so much fun. And as such, we are so appreciative, and from the bottom of our heart, we say thank you. Thank you for supporting this show. Thank you for being early supporters of the show. Thank you for helping build our community, help build our audience. It is not taken for granted.
Absolutely. I second all of that. Thank you guys so much for being here with us and for listening and for getting through some of the kinks as we work through it ourselves. But we're excited to come back in 2025, and I know always, appreciative of the fans who are out there and the listeners. And I hope everyone just has a great holiday season. I hope everyone has a very happy new year, just spends time with friends and family, and just has, a really nice holiday season. I hope that's all in store for you guys.
With that said, Braden?
No, I thought Braden was going to say something.
That's so good. So funny.
Time to move it on.
So funny. Kids these days, Annie.
That's right. Thanks for everybody for making this show a fun show and having us be a part of your day every single day from 10 to 2. Hopefully we break up the monotony of your day. And it's great talking to all of you and keep you guys entertained. So I greatly appreciate that. As I already had 3 people text me, the second air horn was not necessary.
Wow.
Foul on you?
Foul on yourself.
All right, that's my first of the day. So.
I really think it's about your third or fourth, but
no, I've only blown one on myself here.
When you get to call the fouls?
That's right.
It's like me in a pickup game. I'm just calling my own fouls at this point.
Hey, you know what? Tony Reilly doesn't get... he never got the X horn on his Around the Horn show.
It's true. That's true. Still a couple minutes if you want to call. We had one person drop off, 833-2880-973. If you're hearing me say the number right now, you still have time to call, 833-2880-973. Here's our friend Adam in Oceanside, where I'm driving after this show's over. Hello, Adam. Welcome to the program. Ask us anything.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great, brother.
Doing great.
Great. Thank you for a great year, and I hope you guys all have a great holiday and a couple weeks off. But what has been your favorite gift you've ever received for Christmas, and what's your favorite gift you've ever given on Christmas?
We did the gift giving one the other day.
So damn hard.
Oh, have you done that already?
We did the gift giving.
You know, you don't
it's new to you. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I gave
It's
myself.
great. No, it's good. It's good. It's good, Adam. What's the best thing you've ever given away, though? That's a great question.
I gave away, I think the best things I've given away are
We did that one. We didn't do the best gift you've ever received.
Like experiences, like, hey, 2 tickets to Disneyland, or
yes,
let's go do something, or like concert tickets or whatever. Like those would be in my top giveaways.
I got Peach Bowl tickets one year when we went to the Peach Bowl after a big year for TCU. That was fun.
I'll tell you one, and it's weird because you know where I am for this team now. This is the only piece of memorabilia from that team that left and went up north that I have kept. One Christmas, and I didn't know anything about it. It wasn't a gift for myself. They gave me a Mitchell and Ness throwback Kellen Winslow jersey, like Epic in Miami Kellen Winslow
that's
jersey.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then me and my brother and my dad recreated the Kellen Winslow photo of him being carried off
the
awesome. Field after the Epic in Miami.
I mean, Epic, yes. Yeah.
Right, and that was such a beautiful jersey. And I still have it. I got rid of every single piece of Chargers memorabilia but that one's still in my closet. I don't think I've worn it since they've left San Diego, but it's still there. I couldn't get rid of it.
And that's also like a throwback you could always wear. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like you can wear San Diego Chargers stuff. It's
Right.
pushing it, but I feel like you can wear it.
In certain audiences, I could. Some people would have questions for me. But
well, yeah, we're so vocal about being anti them. Being able to, but wearing it would be like, what about this? And you're like, San Diego. It says San Diego on it.
Absolutely. Here is John in Carlsbad. Hi, John. Thanks for calling in. Ask us anything.
Hey, guys. How you doing? So I wanted to call in and talk about this Nolan Arenado deal as it relates to Bogarts. Because when we got Bogarts, we really didn't need him. And it's not that he's a bad player, right? I mean, he's been a good player over his career, but we really didn't need him. And Matt Olson was available, and I just don't understand why AJ Preller didn't go after Matt Olson instead of Bogarts.
Opportunity cost sliding doors, John, right? I mean, they really went after Aaron Judge.
They went after Aaron Judge, then Trey Turner, and then Xander Bogaerts after that.
Yeah, Bogarts was the third pick.
It was almost like they just really wanted to make a big deal happen that offseason.
Yeah, and for the folks who are like, well, what about Bogarts in an Arenado deal? St. Louis is trying to shed money. They're not going to take on 9 years of commitment for 3.
Yes.
And that's what they would be doing if they made that trade. The Padres would either be adding top prospects or tons of money to a deal like that, and how does that make the team better? The goal is to win in 2025. So that's our take on that. Here's Martin and Santee, last Ask Us Anything caller of the year. Martin, what's up, man?
Hey, it's I actually don't have a question today. I just wanted to call and say thank you for bringing us what you have this year. It's been amazing. Each of you have added and developed the show. It's fantastic. I love it, and I appreciate that you that you let me call in and take my questions. So I just have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holidays. Wish you nothing but the best as 2025 begins, and look forward to catching up again next year. So take care, and thank you for everything.
Thank you, Martin.
Thanks, Martin.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate everyone who's made this show what it is. You know, I mean, it's just such a cool thing to be able to come on in here and it took time. You know, it always takes time. It takes time to build an audience. It takes time to clear an audience and then recreate it, transfer some people over the line.
Transfer portal?
Yeah, well, the transfer portal was 12 months long, pretty much. It's like, just say, you want to jump in? But by the end, here we are. You know, here we are. End of the year. You wondered in February or March, is it going to be like this at the end of the year? It is. Here we are. Great year, successful year.
You guys keep us entertained, too, which I know I appreciate on my end.
For sure. And
Mr. Cal.
You know, with that, a real special thanks to the guys who make it possible for us, Michael Valenzuela,
absolutely,
Adam Klug,
yes,
J.R. Rogers,
yes,
the folks who run this place, all of our crack sales team for all the work they've done for us this year. We thank them in equal measure.
And shout out to Ben, Woods, Pauly, Chris, Tony, Scraby, Sammy, everybody who does so much hard work throughout the season. And
Presley,
Frank,
Hamby, in our promotions crew.
Nick.
Absolutely, Nick.
Yes.
Come on, Nick. Didn't think you'd get a shout out.
I feel bad. I feel like we're Mike Schultz, and who did we forget?
Sam Levitt. We love him too.
Sam, yeah.
Did we forget anyone?
I don't think so.
Did we say Scraby?
Yeah. We did.
Yeah. Did we have to say Scraby? Really?
Yes.
You
Stop dunking on Scraby.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. The high
He's
chance.
He's gonna put a warrant. He's gonna put a wanted poster for you.
I know. I've already lost my
Tyler in the chat
says
the morning show's raised almost $12,000 for Lucky Duck so far. So that's pretty
incredible.
cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
So sick.
Well, their goal was 5,000.
Yeah,
their goal was 5.
Nice.
So.
Yeah,
that's great.
And what awaits us in 2025? Like, we could come back the first week and who
brand
knows
new Padres
what could
team.
have happened? Right.
Will the Padres make a move between now and January 6th?
So much news.
Yeah. You can never know what happens. Maybe the Chargers are going to move back.
We'll come back and break it all. No, that's not happening.
Hey, never know what happens.
That was the announcement.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be amazing.
Gwen and Chris are next. For Annie Halbern, Braden Soprenet, I'm Craig Elsten. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for being part of Annie and Elsten. Talk to you next year.
Bye.